Treatise of Sexual Alchemy. By Samael Aun Weor. Chapter 1. The Seven Loaves of Bread. 1. The overseer of the palace, knew, triumphant, saith. That which is an abomination unto me, that which is an abomination unto me, let me not eat. That which is an abomination unto me, that which is an abomination unto me, is filth, let me not eat it in the place of the sepulchral cakes which are offered unto the calves. Let me not he destroyed thereby. Let me not be compelled to take it into my hands, and let me not be compelled to walk thereon in my sandals. The Book of the Dead, chapter 51. 2. The overseer of the house of the overseer of the seal, knew, triumphant, saith. That which is an abomination unto me, that which is an abomination unto me, let me not eat. That which is an abomination unto me, that which is an abomination unto me is filth, let me not eat it in the place of the sepulchral cakes, which are offered unto the calves. Let it not light upon my body. Let me not be obliged to take it into my hands, and let me not he obliged to walk thereon in my sandals. What, now, wilt thou live upon the presence of the gods? Let food come unto me from the place whither thou wilt bring food, and let me live upon the 7 loaves of bread which shall he brought as food before horns, and upon the bread which is brought before Thoth. The gods shall say unto me, What manner of food wouldst thou have given unto thee? And I reply, Let Ru eat my food under the sycamore tree of my lady, the goddess Hathor, and let my times he among the divine beings who have alighted thereon. Let Ru have the power to order my own fields in Tata Mendes and my own growing crops in Anna Heliopolis. Let me live upon bread made of white barley, and let my beer be made with red grain, and may the persons of my father and mother he given unto me as guardians of my door and for the ordering of my territory. Let me he sound and strong, let me have a large room, and let me he able to sit wheresoever I please. The Book of the Dead, chapter 52. 3. My brother, you must not eat of filthiness offered to men. 4. The castes are the doubles of the dead. 5. All human beings are pillars of the underworld. 6. All human beings are living dead, eating filthiness from theories, schools, etc. 7. Therefore, brother of mine, nourish yourself with the 7 loaves of bread which are brought as food before Horus and eat from the bread which is brought before Thoth. 8. The 7 loaves of bread are the wisdom of our 7 serpents. 9. We have 7 serpents, 2 groups of 3, with the sublime coronation of the 7th tongue of fire that unites ourselves with the One, with the law, with the Father. 10. These are the 7 loaves of bread, which are brought as food before Urus, the child of gold, the intimate Christ of sexual alchemy. 11. Let us eat under the sycamore tree of my lady, the priestess of our alchemical laboratory. 12. The sycamore tree is the sexual forces that we must transmute in our alchemical laboratory. 13. All the sacred books of the world are elaborated with the wisdom of the 7 loaves of bread. 14. Let us bow before the Holy Bible and let us make a respectable bow before the Book of the Dead, the Zend-Avesta, the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita and the Vedas. 15. These are eternal books. 16. The wisdom of the prophets is the wisdom of the 7 loaves of bread. 17. Let us eat under the sycamore tree of our priestess spouse, in order to elaborate the child of gold of sexual alchemy. 18. Let us eat from the bread which is brought before Thoth, the bread of the Christ mind, so that we may liberate ourselves from the 4 bodies of sin and enter the room of the double Maat. How do you find this book? Any thoughts about the book or the author? Any suggestion for improvement? Please take a moment to share your thoughts in a comment. If you like it, share it with your friends who might enjoy it as well. Subscribe to keep in touch. Visit CompleteAudiobooks.com for more quality content. Chapter 2. Speculum Alchemy. 1. The principles of all the metals are salt, mercury and sulphur. 2. Mercury, sulphur, or salt alone cannot give origin to the metals. However, when united, they give birth to diverse mineral metals. 3. Therefore, it is logical that our philosophical stone must inevitably have these three principles. 4. Sulphur is the fire of alchemy, Mercury is the spirit of alchemy, and salt is the mastery of alchemy. 5. In order to elaborate the Red Elixir and the White Elixir, we inevitably need a substance in which salt, sulphur, and mercury are found completely pure and perfect. This is because the impurity and the imperfection of the alloy is again found in the amalgam. 6. However, nothing can be aggregated to the metals except for the substances that are extracted from them. It is logical that a strange substance cannot serve us. Therefore, the crude matter of the great work must be found within ourselves. 7. We perfect the substance, the crude matter, according to the art. This substance is the sacred fire of our organic laboratory. 8. This substance, being semi-solid and semi-liquid, has a pure, clear, white and red mercury and a similar sulphur. 9. Moreover, this substance possesses two types of salt, one fixed and the other volatile. 10. This crude matter of the great work is the semen of our sexual glands. 11. With our science and by means of the fire, we transform this marvelous substance in order for it to be millions of times more perfect at the end of the work. 12. We elaborate the Red Elixir and the White Elixir with this marvelous substance. Chapter 3. The Fire. 1. We must work with the matter of our blessed stone, with the goal of perfecting our internal bodies. 2. In the mines, we see how the crude elements are transformed by heat until they are converted into mercury. 3. We see the fire transforming the grease of the earth into sulphur in the mines. 4. The heat acting upon these two principles engenders all the metals of the earth according to their purity or impurity. 5. Nature produces and perfects all the metals of our planet Earth by means of incessant baking. 6. Roger Bacon stated the following, "Oh, infinite madness, who asked for this, who forced us to want to make the same thing with the help of rare and fantastic procedures?" 7. Certainly, beloved brethren, the following phrase of Roger Bacon is very true, nature contains nature. Nature is delighted with nature. Nature dominates nature and it transforms into other natures. 8. Angels are not made with theories of men. 9. Angels are natural, not artificial. 10. Nature contains nature and the blessed stone is our sexual nature with which we can work in our magisterium of fire. 11. It is necessary to bake, and rebake, and to not become tired of it. The fire becomes weak and even extinguished and the alchemist ejaculates the semen. 12. The ancient alchemist stated, "Let your fire be tranquil and gentle, let it be kept as this each day, always uniform, without being weak, if this is not so, it will cause great damage." 13. The fire becomes weak and even extinguished and the alchemist ejaculates the semen. 14. The alchemist then fails in the great work. 15. Our magisterium is first of all submitted to a gentle and soft fire, but in the work of the great work, it is necessary to intensify the fire, degree by degree, until reaching the goal. Chapter 4. The Furnace and the Receptacle. 1. In Light of Lights, Aristotle states, the mercury must be baked in a triple receptacle of very hard glass. 2. The receptacle must be round with a very small neck. 3. This receptacle is the virile member. The semen is within our sexual organs. It is the crude matter of the great work. 4. The receptacle must be hermetically sealed with one cover, which means, it is necessary to cover our sexual organs very well, in order to avoid the spilling of the crude matter of the great work. 5. Our glass must be placed in another vessel, hermetically sealed as the first, in such a form that the heat acts upon the crude matter of the great work from above, below, and from all sides. 6. This is the formula: introduce the virile member into the female vagina without ejaculating the semen, without reaching the orgasm. 7. Thus, the phallus, which is the receptacle that contains the crude matter of the great work, remains surrounded by the walls of the vagina and is submitted to heat, equal on every side. 8. Our disciples will now comprehend why Aristotle states in Light of Lights that, the mercury must be baked in a triple receptacle of very hard glass. 9. Nature bakes the metals in the mines with the help of the fire, however, it needs receptacles that are adequate for baking. 10. It is noticeable that heat is always constant within the mines. The mountains filled with mines are completely closed in order for the heat not to escape, because without fire the metals of the earth cannot be elaborated. 11. We must do the same with the phallus and the uterus. Both man and woman must withdraw without spilling even a single drop of semen. 12. In the beginning, let your fire be tranquil and gentle, let it be kept as this every day, always uniform, without being weak. Otherwise, it will cause great damage. 13. However, brethren, you can intensify the fire, little by little. 14. In the beginning, the practices of sexual magic must be short, but later you can prolong them little by little, making them more intense each time, in order to intensify the fire. 15. Need 7 times, brother of mine. 16. There are 7 serpents that you most raise upon the reed, until the king appears, crowned with the red diadem. 17. The work is analogous to the creation of the human being because, nature contains nature. Nature is delighted with nature. Nature dominates nature and it transforms into other natures. 18. The furnace of our laboratory is the virile member and the vulva, sexually connected. Chapter 5. The chapter of bringing along a boat in the underworld. 1. The overseer of the house of the overseer of the seal, new, triumphant, saith. Hail, ye who bring along the boat over the evil back of, Apipi, grant that I may bring the boat along, and coil up, its, ropes in peace, in peace. Come, come, hasten, hasten for I have come to see my father Osiris, the lord of the Ansi garment, who hath gained the mastery with joy of heart. Hail Lord of the Rainston, thou male, thou sailor. Paul, thou that dost sail over the evil back of Apep. Hail thou that dost bind up heads and doth stablish the bones of the neck when thou comest forth from the knives. Hail, thou who art in charge of the hidden boat, who dost fetter Apep, grant that I may bring along the boat, and that I may coil up the ropes and that I may sail forth therein. This land is baleful, and the stars have overbalanced themselves and have fallen upon their faces therein, and they have not found anything which will help them to ascend again, their path is blocked by the tongue of Ra. Antibu, is, the guide of the 2 lands. Seb is established, through, their rudders. The power, which openeth the disk. The prince of the red beings. I am brought along like him that hath suffered shipwreck. Grant that my coup, my brother, may come to me, and that, I, may set out for the place whereof thou knowest. Tell me my name, set the wood whereat I would anchor, Lord of the 2 lands who dwellest in the shrine, is thy name. Tell me my name, set the rudder, leg of Hapiu, is thy name. Tell me my name, set the rope, hair with which Anpu, Anubis, finisheth the work of my embalmment, is thy name. Tell us our name, say the Orests. Pillars of the underworld, is your name. Tell me my name, set the hold, Acre, is thy name. Tell me my name, set the mast, he who bringeth back the great lady after she hath gone away, is thy name. Tell me my name, set the lower deck, standard of Apiyut, is thy name. Tell me my name, set the upper post, throat of Mestha, is thy name. Tell me my name, set the sail, Nut, is thy name. Tell us our name, say the pieces of leather. Ye who are made from the hide of the Nevis bull, which was burned by Sooty, is your name. Tell us our name, say the paddles, fingers of horns the firstborn, is your name. Tell me my name, set the Machabet, the hand of Isis, which wiped away the blood from the eye of horns, is thy name. Tell us our names, say the planks which are in its hulk, Mestha, Hapi, Tuamotef, Kebsenef, Hakau, i.e. He who letteth away captive, Dedemua, i.e., he who seizeth by violence, Masintef, i.e., he who seeth what the Father bringeth, and Rnf Chisef, i.e., he who made himself, are your names. Tell us our names, say the bows. He who is at the head of his gnomes, is your name. Tell me my name, Seth the Hull, Mert is thy name. Tell me my name, Seth the Rudder. Akka, i.e., True One, is thy name, O thou who shinest from the water, Hidden Beam is thy name. Tell me my name, Seth the Keel, Thing, or Leg, of Isis, which Ra cut off with the knife to bring blood into the Sektet boat, is thy name. Tell me my name, Seth the Sailor, Traveller, is thy name. Tell me my name, Seth the Wind by which thou art borne along, the north wind which cometh from turn to the nostrils of Kenti, Amenti, is thy name. Tell me my name, Seth the River, if thou wouldst travel upon me. Those which can he seen is thy name. Tell us our name, say the river ranks, destroyer of the god Oa, i.e., he of the spacious hand, in the water house, is thy name. Tell me my name, Seth the ground, if thou wouldst walk upon me. The nose of heaven which proceedeth from the god Utu, who dwelleth in the Seketaru, and who cometh forth with rejoicing therefrom, is thy name. Then shall be recited before them these words. Hail to you, O ye divine beings with beautiful castes, ye divine lords of things, who exist and who live for ever and, whose, double period of an illimitable number of years is eternity. I have made a way unto you, grant ye my food and sepulchral meals for my mouth, grant that, I may speak therewith, and that the goddess Isis, give me, loaves and cakes in the presence of the great God. I know the great God before whose nostrils ye place celestial food, and his name is Thecum. Both when he mocketh his way from the eastern horizon of heaven and when he journeyeth into the western horizon of heaven may his journey he my journey, and his going forth my going forth. Let me not he destroyed at the mesquite chamber, and let not the devils gain dominion over my members. I have my cakes in the city of Pe, and I have my ale in the city of Tepu, and let the offerings, are given unto you, he given unto me this day. Let my offerings be wheat and barley. Let my offerings he anti-unguent and linen, garments, let my offerings he for life, strength, and health. Let my offerings he a coming forth by day in any form whatsoever in which it may please me to appear in Seketaru. The Book of the Dead, Chapter 99. 2. All of our laboratory work is found enclosed in this chapter of the Book of the Dead, which we have transcribed. 3. First of all, the stone is black, because the alchemist must enter the underworld, in order to pull the light away from the darkness. 4. The immaculate whiteness of the light is hidden within the blackness of the stone. 5. This first phase belongs to the state of putrefaction. 6. The stone then reddens, liquefies and thickens before gaining its true whiteness. 7. The stone passes through true alchemical transformations. 8. It blackens, it whitens, it is purified, it is adorned with red and white. It passes innumerable transformations during the entire lithiatic process. 9. It is necessary to bake and rebake until the child of gold appears. 10. This child of gold is the intimate Christ. 11. Except ye he converted and become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. 12. Innumerable colors appear in our philosophical stone before it shines. 13. After the whiteness, you cannot deceive yourself, because you will reach a grayish color by increasing the fire. 14. This is the ash. 15. This is the salt of alchemy. The salt is divided into fixed salt and volatile salt. 16. Later, after 7 distillations of the vessel, the king appears crowned with the red diadem in. 17. Behold all the initiatic processes that we must perform in our alchemical laboratory. 18. Hail, ye who bring along the boat over the evil hack of Apep. 19. Hail, O warrior, you who bring along the boat of your existence over the evil back of Apep, the tempting serpent of Eden. 20. You must pull the light from the darkness in the underworld so that you may reach your father Osiris, the innermost, your real being, the lord of the Ansi garment. 21. The alchemist must plow the malignant hack of a pep, the tempting serpent of Eden. 22. The alchemist must pull the fire from the evil. 23. The alchemist must pull the immaculate whiteness from the darkness. 24. You must practice sexual magic with your spouse, in order for your black stone to shine with the fire and for it to then become white, immaculate and pure. 25. It is necessary to bake, and rebake, and to not become tired of it. 26. Thus, we would like to state that it is necessary to intensely practice sexual magic with your spouse, in order to awaken the Kundalini and to achieve the union with the innermost. 27. The Kundalini rises vertebra by vertebra, canon by canon, degree by degree, little by little. 28. The sacred fire is the sulphur. 29. The ascension of the Kundalini is slow and difficult. 30. When the alchemist spills the crude matter of the great work, the fire descends one or more canons, in accordance with the magnitude of the fault. 31. Our Lord, the Christ told me. 32. The disciple must not allow himself to fall, because the disciple who allows himself to fall has then to fight very much in order to recover what has been lost. 33. The tenebrous ones attack you within the darkness in order to impede you from entering the chambers of your spinal column. 34. Each degree that you gain in your spinal column is a cup that you steal from the tenebrous ones of the underworld. 35. You eat the esoteric wisdom of the 7 loaves of bread in the chamber of your spinal column. 36. Nourish yourself, brother of mine, with the 7 loaves of bread, which are brought as food before Horus, and eat of the sepulchral cakes, which are offered unto the Cas. 37. Hail, Lord of the rainstorm, thou male, thou sailor. 38. Whosoever crosses the initiatic path must live the drama of the cross. The initiate must tolerate the rainstorm of great bitterness. 39. Hail, thou that dost bind up heads and doth stablish the hones of the neck when thou comest forth from the knives. 40. We must raise 7 serpents upon our reed, until the king appears, crowned with the red diadem. 41. We must pass through the decapitation of John the Baptist 7 times. 42. We pass through the decapitation of St. John the Baptist, each time in a very refined form, as the 7 serpents pass in successive order from the vertebrae of the neck to the head. 43. Hail, thou that dost bind up heads and doth stablish the hones of the neck when thou comest forth from the knives. 44. The naked Salome, drunk with lust and passion and dancing with the head of St. John the Baptist in her lecherous arms before King Herod, symbolizes the great human harlot dancing before the world with our earthly head, initiates. 45. Each time the initiate comes out from the knives, he leaves his vulgar and earthly mind to the world. 46. Hail, thou that dost hind up heads and doth stablish the hones or the neck when thou, initiates, comest forth from the knives. 47. It is necessary to hake, bake, and rebake and to not become tired of it. 48. The philosophical stone turns red, turns white, it thickens, it dissolves, it brightens, it sparkles, and it shines within the underworld. 49. Flail, thou who art in charge of the hidden boat, who dost fetter a pep. 50. Grant that I may bring along the boat, and that I may coil up the ropes and that I may sail forth therein. 51. Hail, warrior, you who victoriously defeats the temptations and steals the cups of your spinal vertebrae from the inhabitants of the underworld. 52. Work in your laboratory until you succeed in reaching your father, Osiris. 53. You are an inhabitant of the underworld and you must depart from the country of darkness in order to enter the kingdom of the light. 54. It is necessary to bake, and rehake and to not become tired of it. 55. The underworld is terrible. 56. This land is baleful, and the stars have overbalanced themselves and have fallen upon their faces therein, and they have not found anything which will help them to ascend again. 57. Their path is blocked by the tongue of Ra. 58. all human beings are fallen stars in the dark land of the underworld. 59. The road of this dark land is blocked by the tongue of Ra, by the longing for the light, by the path of the initiation that leads us from death to life, from the darkness to the light. 60. Antihu is the guide of the two lands. 61. Antihu is the god of the Ban ascension. 62. The ascension of the Lord is performed after our crucifixion, death, and resurrection. 63. Seb is established through their rudders. 64. This means that Atman, the ineffable one, constitutes the kingdom of the gods, thanks to his rudders, the ineffable beings. They are the ones who have departed from the underworld. They have passed from the darkness to the light, because they knew how to extract the whiteness from the black stone, according to the art. 65. These are the princes of the red beings, these are the princes of the fire. 66. These are the masters of metallic transmutations. 67. Grant that my Ku, my brother, may come to me, and that I may set out for the place whereof thou knowest. 68. This signifies, cover yourself with your brilliant cape, brother of mine, with your translucent cape, and with your spiritual cape, so that you may depart from this dark land and you may enter into the region of the light. 69. You are a lord of the darkness and a lord of the light. 70. Lord of the two lands who dwellest in the shrine. 71. Leg of Hapiu is thy name, because you are a descendant of the third race. 72. Hair with which Anpu, Anubis, finisheth the work of my embalmment, is thy name. 73. Such is your name, which reminds us that Mary Magdalene embalmed the body of the Master with a precious ointment, before his crucifixion. 74. The holy women embalmed and shrouded the body of Christ after his death. 75. You must be embalmed for death. 76. In each initiation, something dies within ourselves and something is born within ourselves. 77. Your body must be embalmed for death, brother of mine. 78. You must be shrouded in the underworld so that you may resurrect from among the dead. 79. It is sad to say, but you are the pillars of the underworld. 80. You are Acre, the lion with two heads, the god of the earth. 81. You are submitted to the lords of karma, to the lions of the law. 82. You now need to he who bringeth back the lady after she hath gone away. 83. You need to return to the bosom of the mother goddess of the world. 84. You are called standard of Apiyut, because you are advancing on the path of the initiation, obeying the law. 85. You are called throat of Mestha, because you have a human's head. 86. You are called Nut, because you came out from the waters of the abyss. 87. You came out from the profound waters of the chaos. 88. The water, semen, must be transmuted into the wine of the light of the alchemist. 89. Ye who are made from the hide of the Nevis bull, which was burned by Suti. 90. The gods are sons of Neith, the woman. 91. This is why you are made from the hide of the Nevis bull which was burned by Suti. 92. You are the fingers of Horus, the firstborn, the green child, the child of gold, the intimate Christ who is the result of the work of your blessed stone. 93. Do not forget, brother of mine, that Isis wipes away the blood from the eye of Horus. 94. Our intimate Christ is caressed by the soft hand of the blessed goddess mother of the world. 95. This is how we heal our wounds. 96. The initiation is the painful drama of the cross. 97. You have a human's head. You descend from a divine race. You are one of the divine creatures. You have the wings of an eagle, but you have remained captive in this underworld. 98. You have been violently taken by the tenebrous ones of the underworld. 99. Do you see what the parse is bringing? Lie brings you the light. 100. It is necessary to hake, bake, and rebake and to never become tired of it. 101. The one who formed himself is a master of metallic transmutations. 102. you are before your gnomes, the infernal creatures of the underworld, who incessantly attack you. 103. Take very good care of your receptacle so that not even a single drop of your crude matter of the great work escapes. 104. Terrible temptations besiege you in the underworld. 105. The black magicians send you voluptuous temptations, seducing flesh who smile at you in the baleful land, where the stars have overbalanced themselves and have fallen upon their faces. 106. You are the son of Mert. 107. Akka is thy name, O thou who shinest from the water, hidden beam is thy name. 108. The hidden ray is within the water. 109. The terrific fire of the seven serpents that frightfully revolves among terrible flashes of lightning, flashes within the semen. 110. You are a leg of Isis that has been cut by Ra, and you must now return to the goddess mother, who awaits you in the room of Maat. 111. You are a traveler of the cosmos. 112. Advance, traveler, advance. You are the north wind, which comes from Turn. You are the breath of Ra, the Father, the eternal Atman. 113. You are those who can be seen. 114. You are a destroyer of the god Oa in the waterhouse, because this water, or crystonic semen of your sexual organs is transformed into fire. 115. Your two uraeus, your two serpents, one from the south and one from the north, shine upon your forehead. 116. These two serpents are two ganglionic cords through which the seminal energy rises to the head. 117. The water is transformed into the wine of light, and this sacred wine rises through the two ganglionic cords and shines between the brows. 118. The ancient kings had two crowns upon their head and the sacred serpent between the brows. 119. You are in the held of the reeds, and you must intensely practice sexual magic with your spouse, in order to make the fire rise through the reed. 120. We are before the divine beings, the splendid Cas. 121. You must eat sepulchral meals and words of the gods in order to die. 122. However, you will eat sepulchral cakes offered to the gods, but you will not eat theories, religions, schools, etc., because these are abominable. 123. You must eat food and words in order to die and resurrect. 124. Your death will be sweet, and whosoever witnesses it will feel truly happy. 125. Thy death will have to be the seal of the oath of our eternal love. 126. Death is the crown of everyone. 127. May the goddess Isis give us the loaves of bread in the presence of the great god. 128. May the goddess Isis nourish it with the 7 loaves of bread which are brought as food before horns. 129. Let me not he destroyed at the mesquite chamber, and let not the devils gain dominion over my members. 130. We are reborn as gods within the cradle of skin. 131. This is the underworld. Here, the tempting demons attack us. Here, we must perform the great work. 132. This is why we must extract the hidden and immaculate whiteness when we find the blackness of the stone. 133. When you see the whiteness appearing, you must not forget that the red is hidden within the whiteness. We must extract the red by baking, and rebaking, without ever becoming tired of it. 134. The tenebrous ones attack us within the black abysses of the underworlds, and we must courageously pull the fire from them. 135. Later, this fire shines in the spinal column with an immaculate whiteness. 136. After the whiteness, you cannot deceive yourself, because you will reach a grayish color by increasing the fire. 137. The grayish color is the salt of the alchemist. 138. The volatile salt is diffused throughout the entire body and it passes to the larynx of the woman. 139. The volatile salt of the woman passes to the larynx of the man. 140. This is how our larynx becomes hermaphroditic, and it is converted into a creative organ of the master of metallic transmutations. 141. The fixed salt serves as a base and a foundation. 142. The stone is first of all black, because we must enter the underworld in order to steal the torch of fire from Baphomet. 143. It is then red, because we pull the fire from the spinal chambers. 144. It is then white, because it shines in the candlestick of our spinal column with the splendorous whiteness of the master of metallic transmutations. 145. Then comes the changing phases as we bake and rebake the crude matter of the great work. 146. There are 7 distillations, which means, there are 7 serpents that we must raise upon the reed until the king appears, crowned with the red diadem. 147. In other words, we must raise them until we convert ourselves into masters of the Mahamanvantara. 148. I have my cakes in the city of Pe, and I have my ale in the city of Tepu, and let the offerings which are given unto you be given unto me this day. 149. Let my offerings be wheat and barley. Let my offerings be anti-unguent and linen garments, let my offerings be for life, strength, and health, let my offerings be a coming forth by day in any form whatsoever in which it may please me to appear in Sekitaru. 150. Our alchemical food is in the city of Pe, which means in Lower Egypt, our sexual organs. 151. The 7 loaves of bread, our sacred cakes and our ale are in the city in which Thoth makes the intimate triumph. 152. Thoth is the Christ mind. The god Thoth is the god of the Christ mind. 153. When the human being liberates himself from the 4 bodies of sin, he is converted into a dragon of the 4 truths, into a Buddha. 154. When we have performed the great work, we are ineffable gods in the field of the reeds. Chapter 6. The White Elixir and the Red Elixir. 1. The White Elixir and the Red Elixir are the tree of the science of good and evil and the tree of life. 2. The Red Elixir is the pure gold of the spirit. It is the tree of life. 3. The White Elixir is the sexual force of Eden. 4. The Red Elixir transforms lead into gold and makes everything yellow. 5. The Red Elixir whitens the metals. It gives them an immaculate whiteness. 6. Although all the metals are carried to perfection by the elixir, there is no doubt that the most perfect metals are those that reach perfection more rapidly. 7. The less perfect metals are reaching perfection in accordance with the more perfect ones. 8. This is the blessed magisterium of the great work of the Father. 9. It is important to learn how to project the red and white elixirs upon the metals in order to transmute them into pure gold. 10. The formula consists of mixing 1 part of the elixir with the honey of the metal that is closest to perfection. 11. All the contents are enclosed within the receptacle, which is then placed in the furnace in order for the fire to make a perfect union after 3 days. 12. The same process must be repeated with the other metals that are closest to perfection. Thus, we succeed, little by little, in transmuting all the metals into pure gold. 13. This gold is more pure than all the gold of the mines of the earth. 14. The metals are our internal bodies that must be crystallified with the white and red elixirs. 15. The first metal that we must transmute into gold is the physical body. 16. We project our white and red elixirs upon this metal in order to transmute it into the pure gold of the spirit. 17. This work is performed when we have raised our first serpent upon the reed. 18. After 3 days, that is to say, after the first serpent has passed through the 3 highest chambers of the head, the Buddhic body or body of consciousness is integrally fused with the innermost. 19. This is how the closest metal is transformed into pure gold, and this integral fusion with the real being is achieved. 20. A new master, who is the result of this fusion, emerges from the living profundity of the consciousness. 21. This internal master is the authentic master of metallic transmutations. 22. Later, the master of metallic transmutations must do the projections upon the remainder of his metals in order to transmute them, by extracting from them the pure gold. 23. It is necessary to bake, and rebake and not to become tired of it. 24. In the beginning, the fire can be low, but later it must be very intense in order to achieve the perfect transmutation. 25. The second metal that must be transmuted is the ethereal body. 26. We perform this work by projecting our white and red elixirs over this body. 27. The spirit and the fire of the second serpent, which are the two elixirs, transmute the ethereal body into Tasoma Puchikon, the body of gold. 28. The third metal that we must transmute is the astral body. 29. We perform this work with the third serpent that belongs to the astral body. 30. We extract a superior astral body, which is the intimate Christ, from the astral body. 31. This child of gold is Horus. 32. We then transmute the mental body in order to extract the Christ mind from this metal. 33. Thus, we enter the room of the double Maat and we liberate ourselves from the four bodies of sin. 3-4. When we achieve a perfect metallic transmutation, the four bodies of sin give us the four bodies of gold. 35. The four bodies of sin are replaced by four heavenly bodies that serve as a temple for the three-unit immortal spirit. 36. We extract the body of liberation from the physical body. 37. This body is made with flesh, but flesh that does not come from Adam. 38. It is a body filled with millenarian perfections. It is elaborated with the most evolved atoms of our physical body. 39. The body of gold that co-penetrates the body of liberation is extracted from the ethereal body. 40. The child of gold of alchemy that replaces the astral body is extracted from the astral body. 41. The Christ mind that replaces the mental body is extracted from the mental body. 42. This is how we achieve the metallic transmutation. 43. This is how the four bodies of sin are replaced by the four bodies of glory. 44. This is how we transmute the metals with the white and red elixirs. 45. This is how the inferior quaternary reinforces the divine triad. 46. The gods of nirvana are dressed with four bodies of glory. 47. The gods of nirvana do not use the four bodies of sin. 48. Only we, masters of nirvana, who are accomplishing a mission here in the physical world, must keep our four bodies of sin in order to express ourselves through them. 49. However, when we are liberated from the four bodies of sin, we enliven them in the form of hypostasis or by hypostasy. 50. The same eternal and spiritual triad must pass through gigantic alchemical transmutations in order to reach the union with the One, with the Law, with the Father. 51. There are 7 serpents that we must raise upon the reed in order to convert ourselves into the king crowned with the red diadem. 52. The 5th serpent gives us Christ will. The 6th serpent gives us Christ consciousness. The 7th serpent unites us with the One, with the Law, with the Father. 53. It is necessary to bake, and rebake and to not become tired of it. 54. The receptacle must be hermetically sealed in order to impede the spilling of the crude matter of the great work. 55. In this work of alchemy, the spiritual substances are converted into corporeal substances and the corporeal substances are converted into spiritual substances. 56. This is our sacred magisterium of the fire. Chapter 7. The Elixir of Long Life. 1. The chapter of driving away the slaughterings which are performed in the underworld. Nebseni, the scribe and the designer in the temples of Upper and Lower Egypt, he to whom fair venerations is paid, the son of the scribe and artist Dina, triumphant, saith, Hail, turn. I have become glorious, or a coup, in the presence of the double lion God, the great God, therefore open thou unto me the gate of the God Seb. I smell the earth, i.e., I bow down so that my nose toucheth the ground, of the great God who dwelleth in the underworld, and I advance into the presence of the company of the gods who dwell with the beings who are in the underworld. Hail, thou guardian of the divine door of the city of Beta, thou Neti who dwellest in Amontet. I eat food, and I have life through the air, and the god Achuar leadeth me with him to the mighty boat of Kepra. I hold converse with the divine mariners at eventide, I enter in, I go forth, and I see the being who is there, I lift him up, and I say what I have to say unto him whose throat stinketh, for lack of air. I have life, and I am delivered, having lain down in death. Hail, thou that bringeth offerings and oblations, bring forward thy mouth and make to draw nigh the writings, or lists, of offerings and oblations. Set thou right and truth firmly upon their throne, make thou the writings to draw nigh, and set thou up the goddesses in the presence of Osiris, the mighty God, the Prince of everlastingness, who counteth his years. Who hearkeneth unto those who are in the islands, or pools, who riseth his right shoulder, who judgeth the divine princes, and who sendeth, deceased, into the presence of the great sovereign princes who live in the underworld. The Book of the Dead, Chapter 41. 2. When we have achieved glory before the double lion God, which means before the law opens the door of the divine Seb for us. 3. The divine Seb is Atman, the universal spirit of life, before whom we bow reverently. 4. We then present ourselves before the assembly of the gods who dwell with the beings who are in the underworld. 5. We give thanks to the air, and the immortal one conduces us towards the mighty boat of Kepra. 6. Kepra is the creative deity of the gods, the sacred scarab, Ra within ourselves, the Sati. 7. I hold converse with the divine mariners at eventide, I enter in, I go forth, and I see the being who is there. 8. This being is my being, my Father, who is in secret. 9. He is the one whom I converse with when I have perfected myself. 10. This is how I acquired the elixir of long life after having drawn near the writings, or lists, of offerings and oblations. This is how I am delivered and how I have life after having lain down in death. 11. The body of liberation is neither subjected to sickness, nor to death. 12. The body of liberation is made with flesh and bones, but it is flesh that does not come from Adam. It is flesh from the cosmic Christ. 13. The body of liberation is similar to the divine Rabbi of Galilee. 14. The body of liberation is the body of the gods. 15. We sit upon the throne of justice and truth with this body, and thus we remain exalted as immortals in the presence of Osiris and Horus. 16. Osiris is the innermost, the mighty God, the Prince of everlastingness, who counteth his years, who hearkeneth unto those who are in the islands, or pools, who riseth his right shoulder, who judgeth the divine princes. And who sendeth the deceased into the presence of the great sovereign princes who live in the underworld. 17. The entire elixir of long life is found in the phallus of Osiris. 18. We can preserve even the physical body for long eons of time with the elixir of long life. 19. Master Mejner lived 7 times 7 centuries. 20. The Master Zanoni preserved his physical body for thousands of years. 21. The Count Saint-Germain still possesses the same physical body with which he presented himself in the courts of Europe during the 17th and 18th centuries. 22. We enter the kingdom of supermen with the white and red elixirs and we convert ourselves into omnipotent gods of the universe. Chapter 8. The chapter of giving air in the underworld. 1. Seth Nu, triumphant. I am the jackal of jackals, I am Shu, and, I, draw air from the presence of the God of light, Ku, to the bounds of heaven, and to the bounds of earth. And to the bounds of the uttermost limits of the flight of the Nebe bird. May air be given unto these young divine beings. The Book of the Dead, Chapter 55. 2. The jackal of jackals is the chief of the rulers of destiny, Anubis, the god with head of a jackal. 3. Anubis is in charge of the books of the underworld. 4. The temple of Anubis is the temple of the lords of Karma. 5. Each human being has his book of business. 6. Those who learn how to control their astral body, can visit the temple of the Jackal of Jackals in order to consult their book and to make their negotiations. 7. Whosoever has capital to pay, pays and does well in his negotiations. 8. Whosoever does not have capital to pay, must pay with pain. 9. Perform good deeds so that you may pay your debts. 10. Credits can also be given upon request to the lords of karma. 11. Every credit must be paid. 12. When the logos of the solar system delivered the tunic and mantle of a hierophant of major mysteries to me, he told me, "Here, I pay you what I owe you for the practices that you have taught." 13. Whosoever wants light, must give light in order to receive his payment. 14. The Jackal of Jackals conduces light through all the limits of the firmament and arrives to the frontiers of the Nebe bird, the huge serpent, one of the 42 judges of Maat in judgment. 15. This great judge is the logos of the solar system. 16. The Jackal of Jackals works under the orders of this great judge. 17. These young, divine beings who work with Anubis are the lords of karma. 18. The alchemist must learn how to control his in order to visit the temple of the Jackal of Jackals and to settle his negotiations. 19. In our work with the blessed stone, it is indispensable to learn how to consciously handle our negotiations. Chapter 9. The Red Lion. 1. The red lion is the drinkable gold. 2. The drinkable gold is the kundalini. 3. The kundalini is the fire from the semen. 4. It is necessary to separate the red lion from all types of waste. 5. These wastes and impurities are separated from the red lion by a kneading process. 6. Sexual magic and the strength of willpower is what we understand to be the kneading process. 7. This drinkable gold must be mixed with the alcohol of the wine in order to be washed and then distilled in a very good distiller until the sourness of the royal water completely disappears. 8. The alcohol of the wine is nothing more than the wine of light with which the semen is mixed during the processes of sexual transmutation. 9. This wine of light is transmuted semen. 10. It is necessary to distill, which means to totally transmute the semen. 11. This is how the sourness disappears from the royal water. This is how it is referred to in alchemy. 12. The red lion is the sacred fire. 13. It is necessary to place this drinkable gold into a very well sealed receptacle. 14. It is necessary to bake and rebake 3 times, until the perfect tincture of the sun is obtained. 15. The perfect tincture of the sun gives us the power to resurrect from among the dead. 16. Christ resurrected from the dead on the 3rd day. 17. The perfect tincture of the sun is the kundalini of the astral body. 18. When the initiate conduces his 3rd serpent to tie heart, he then passes through the symbolic resurrection and the ascension of our Lord Jesus Christ. Chapter 10. The Green Lion. 1. The green lion is the innermost of every one. 2. This work is performed with the vitriol of Venus. 3. Viatirol. 4. Visitum interiori terra rectifictor in veniam occultum lapidum. 5. Visit the interior of the earth, which by rectifying, you will find the occult stone. 6. It is necessary to visit our own interior earth in order to find our blessed stone. 7. This blessed stone is the semen. 8. Vitriol. 9. Liquid glass, flexible and moldable. By rectifying this liquid, we find the tincture of gold, the green lion of alchemy, the innermost. 10. The vitriol has 2 colors, one red and the other white. 11. The red color reddens everything. It even dyes the white bodies with red. 12. This is the color of passion. 13. The white color whitens everything, it even whitens the red bodies of the abyss. 14. We enter into the world of passion through the erotic doors, in order to steal the cups of the spinal column from the devil. This is how we are stealing the fire from the devil. 15. The tempting demons then attack us in the underworld and we must fight great battles with them in order to steal the cups of our spinal column. 16. Each cup stolen from the underworld shines with immaculate whiteness in its corresponding vertebra of the medulla. 17. This is how the whiteness of the vitriol whitens all of the red bodies. 18. We must descend to the abyss many times and ascend again, to search for the red and green lions. 19. Carnal passion is the door to enter into the abyss. 20. What is important is to dominate the beast in order to steal the fire from the devil. 21. Hermes Trismegistus states in his emerald tablet. 22. Separate that spirituous earth from the dense or crude by means of gentle heat, with much attention. In great measure it ascends from the earth up to heaven, and descends again, newborn, on the earth, and the superior and the inferior are increased in power. 23. By this thou wilt partake of the honors of the whole world, and darkness will fly from thee. 24. This is the strength of all powers, with this thou wilt be able to overcome all things, and to transmute all what is fine and what is coarse. In this manner the world was created. The Emerald Tablet. 25. Air and water must be added to the vitriol and it must be purified for 1 month. 26. The white and red colors will appear when the putrefaction is completed. 27. Concerning this, we would like to state that by practicing sexual magic, the fire of Kundalini awakens after a certain period of time. 28. The awakening of this fire does not present any dangers because it is performed with the direction of a specialist of the invisible world. 29. The red tincture of the vitriol is the fire. 30. Paracelsus states, work with this tincture in a retort and you will see the blackness emerging from it. 31. In alchemy, this retort is our sexual organs. 32. When we are working with the tincture of the green lion, the tenebrous ones of the abyss attack us. This is why we see blackness emerging from the retort. 33. But, in the end we will find the white liquid by distilling in the retort. 34. This white liquid represents all of our esoteric degrees of our spinal column. 35. It is necessary to incessantly rectify our tincture in order to obtain the green lion. 36. This green lion is the natural balsam of all the celestial planets, and it has the power to heal all sicknesses. 37. The green lion is our internal angel, our innermost. Chapter 11. Astral Tinctures. 1. In our work of metallic transmutations, we must elaborate astral tinctures in order to work in the great work. 2. 4 parts of metallic water and 2 parts of soil of red sun. This is the mother tincture of alchemy. 3. Everything must be placed in a receptacle. The contents must solidify and must desegregate 3 times. 4. This is the mother tincture of alchemy because we elaborate all the 7 tinctures of sexual alchemy with this tincture. 5. The metallic water is the semen. The soil of the red sun is our sexual organs and the sun's sulphur is the kundalini that we must awaken by practicing sexual magic with our spouse. 6. It is clear that it is necessary to solidify it 3 times, because we are a trio of body, soul and spirit. 7. We can dye 1,000 ounces with the sun only with 1 ounce of sun tincture. 8. We can dye the body of Mercury with only 1 ounce of Mercury tincture, etc. 9. We can transmute the vital body into a perfect metal with the lunar tincture. 10. We can transmute our Buddhic body into a metal of perfection with the tincture of Mercury. 11. We can transmute our vehicle of willpower into a body of perfection with the tincture of Venus. 12. We can transmute our astral body or cosmic crestos into a perfect metal with the solar tincture. 13. We can transmute our mental body into a perfect metal with the tincture of Saturn, etc. 14. We transmute the conscious soul of our physical body into a metal of perfection with the tincture of Mars and we give all of our metals the strength of iron. 15. However, the tincture of gold will unite ourselves with the One, with the law, with the Father. 16. Our 7 bodies are influenced by the 7 planets. 17. Our 7 serpents synthesize all the wisdom of the 7 cosmo-creators. 18. Each one of our 7 bodies must synthesize the perfection of each one of the 7 cosmo-creators. 19. We must work with our blessed stone in the retort of our sexual laboratory until obtaining the phoenix of the philosophers. 20. This is how we resurrect after having died, just as the phoenix bird of philosophy. 21. Each one of us is a star in the depth. We return to the bosom of the Father after having worked with the astral tinctures that transmute our 7 bodies into vehicles of perfection. 22. Just as the flames expand themselves, the 7 ordaining beings, the 7 planetary logoi of our solar system also expanded themselves in the dawn of life. The millions of divine particles evolving through the Mahamanvantara were the result of this expansion. 23. Each divine particle must self-realize as a master of metallic transmutations and return to the Father. 24. Every spark must return to the flame from which it departed, yet keeping its individuality. 25. Chapter 61 of the Book of the Dead, of Coming Forth by Day, verse 17 states. 26. Behold, the God of one face is with me. Hail, ye 7 beings who make decrees, who support the scales on the night of the judgment of the Uchit, who cut off heads, who hack necks in pieces, who take possession of hearts by violence and rend the places where hearts are fixed. Who make slaughtering in the lake of fire, I know you and I know your names, therefore know ye me even as I know your names. I come forth to you therefore come ye forth to me, for ye live in me and I would live in you. Make ye me to be vigorous by means of that which is in your hands, that is to say, by the rod of power, which is in your hands. Decree ye for my life by your speech year by year. Give me multitudes of years over and above my years of life, and multitudes of months over and above my months of life, and multitudes of days over and above my days of life, and multitudes of nights over and above my nights of life. And grant that I may come forth and shine upon my statue, and, me, air for my nose, and let my eyes have the power to see among those divine beings who dwell in the horizon on the day when evil-doing and wrong are justly assessed. 27. The God of one face, which is within ourselves, is the innermost. 28. The 7 beings support the scale of judgment and they decapitate and slaughter the alchemists in order to self-realize them as masters of metallic transmutations. 29. Each time that one of our 7 serpents rises from the vertebrae of the neck to the head, we pass through the symbolic slaughter. 30. The 7 planetary genii take possession of the hearts and tear the chests in order to liberate the souls of the underworld, to take them to the place of the light. 31. The 7 logoi perpetrate killings in the lake of fire. 32. It is necessary to die in order to live. It is necessary to die to the world in order to live for the Father. We must die and resurrect as the phoenix bird of sexual alchemy, in the magisterium of the fire. 33. The immortal gods give us vigor with the staff of command that they hold in their dexterous hand. 34. This staff is our spinal column, our bamboo reed with 7 knots, through which the 7 ardent serpents rise. 35. We acquire the elixir of long life with the red and white elixirs, and although we are incarnated in our statue, that is to say, in our physical body, the internal worlds are open and we can see the young divine beings who dwell in the horizon and control the account books of the world. 36. We return to the bosom of the Father and we hear ineffable words with the astral tinctures. 37. All the power is found enclosed in the wisdom of the serpent. 38. The Book of the Dead states the following. 39. I am the serpent Sata whose years are many. I die and I am born again each day. I am the serpent Sata which dwelleth in the uttermost parts of the earth. I die, and I am born again, and I renew myself, and I grow young each day. The Book of the Dead, chapter 87, of making the transformation into the serpent Sata. 40. the lunar tincture is of a violet color, the tincture of Mercury is yellow. The tincture of Venus is indigo, the solar tincture is intense blue and golden, the tincture of Mars is red, the tincture of Jupiter is blue and purple, the tincture of Saturn is green, gray, and black. 41. The alchemist must elaborate the 7 tinctures in order to transmute all his metals. Chapter 12. The 2 witnesses. 1. And I will give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. These are the 2 olive trees, and the 2 candlesticks standing before the God of the earth. And if any man will hurt them, fire proceedeth out of their mouth, and devoureth their enemies, and if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. These have power to shut heaven, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and have power over waters to turn them to blood, and to smite the earth with all plagues, as often as they will. Revelation 11, 3-6. 2. The 2 witnesses of the Apocalypse, Revelation, are our 2 ganglionic cords through which the semen rises towards the chalice of our head. 3. When the virile member is withdrawn from the vagina, without spilling the semen, without reaching the orgasm, the semen then rises through the 2 ganglionic cords to the chalice, the brain. 4. These 2 ganglionic cords are known in the Orient as Ida and Pingla. 5. Ida is the ganglionic cord of the right. Pingla is the ganglionic cord of the left. 6. The semen rises to the head through these 2 nervous channels when we restrain the animal impulse. 7. These are the 2 witnesses, the 2 olive trees and the 2 candlesticks standing before the God of the earth. 8. These are the 2 uraeas from the south and from the north that shine on the forehead. 9. This is why the ancient kings had 2 crowns upon their heads and the sacred serpent upon the midbrow. 10. The solar atoms of our seminal system rise through the right ganglionic channel. 11. The lunar atoms of our seminal system rise through the left ganglionic channel. 12. The right ganglionic cord is related with the left nasal cavity. 1-3. The left ganglionic cord is related with the right nasal cavity. 14. When the solar and lunar atoms of our seminal system make contact near the triveni, which is in the chakra Muladhara, situated in the coccyx, the kundalini then awakens and enters through the inferior orifice of the spinal medulla. 15. The ascension of the kundalini depends on the merits of the heart. 16. The solar and lunar atoms of our seminal system make contact with the coccygeal bone when we learn to withdraw from our spouse without spilling the semen, without reaching the orgasm. 17. In the temples of Lemuria, men and women entered sexual contact in order to reproduce the species, but none of them spilled the semen, reached the orgasm. 18. The divine hierarchies utilized 1 sperm in order to fertilize the womb. 1 sperm easily escapes from the hormonal vessels. 19. There is no need to fornicate to reproduce the species. 20. Seminal ejaculation is an exclusive property of the animal species, but not of the human species. 21. The human being must make his semen rise through the 2 ganglionic cords to the chalice, the brain. 22. The black magicians were the ones who taught the human being how to ejaculate the semen like the animals. 23. The black magicians of the opposite pole of the sanctuary of Vulcan taught the human being black sexual magic. This was their treason to the mysteries of Vulcan. 24. The mysteries of sex are from the sanctuary of Vulcan. 25. The guardians of that sanctuary committed the crime of betraying the mysteries when they allowed themselves to be seduced by those brothers of darkness. 26. Black magicians ejaculate the semen during the acts of negative sexual magic. 2-7. The serpent then descends towards the infernos of the human being. 28. The tail with which Satan is represented is the Kundardigwaiter of black magicians. Such a tail is directed downwards towards the infernos of the human being. 29. When the serpent ascends, it represents the bronze serpent, Kundalini, that healed the Israelites in the wilderness. 32. And the Lord Jehovah said unto the serpent, Because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field, upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. Genesis 3:14. 30. When the serpent descends it signifies the tail of Satan, Kundartiguator. Such a tail is the tempting serpent of Eden, the horrible python serpent with 7 heads that the enraged Apollo wounded with his darts. 31. The serpent of fornication, Kundartiguator, is damned. 33. We must reject the tempting serpent of Eden. 34. Chapter 34, of not Osiris new, triumphant, be bitten by snakes, or worms, in the underworld. He saith, O serpent I am the flame which shineth upon the opener of hundreds of thousands of years, and the standard of the god Tempu. Or, as others say, the standard of young plants and flowers. Depart ye from me, for I am the divine Maftet. 35. We must reject the tempting serpent of Eden and we must not spill the semen. 36. Osiris Ani, triumphant, saith, I am the Great One, Son of the Great One. I am fire, the son of fire, to whom was given his head after it had been cut off. The head of Osiris was not taken away from him, let not the head of Osiris Ani be taken away from him. I have knit myself together. I have made myself whole and complete, I have renewed my youth, I am Osiris, the Lord of eternity. The Book of the Dead, chapter 43, of not letting the head of a man be cut off from him in the underworld. 37. The spark that dwells within ourselves is the daughter of the flame, the Great One, Son of the Great One. 38. After being slaughtered, the head is delivered to the Osiris of the Master. 39. We pass through the slaughter of John the Baptist and the sacred serpent passes from the vertebrae of the neck to the head. 40. No one cuts the head of the innermost, however, we must avoid falling into the abyss. 41. We become complete and we become owners of eternity, filled with eternal youth, when we have raised our kundalini upon the staff, as Moses did in the desert. 42. We must transform ourselves into divine crocodiles. 43. The overseer of the house of the overseer of the seal, new, triumphant, saith, I am the divine crocodile which dwelleth in his tenor, I am the divine crocodile, and I seize my prey like a ravening beast. I am the great and mighty fish, which is in the city of Kemuar. I am the Lord to whom bowing and prostrations are made in the city of Sikkim. The Book of the Dead, chapter 88, of making the transformation into a crocodile. 44. This divine crocodile is the innermost. 45. It is the divine crocodile that seizes its prey like a ravenous beast. 46. These prey are the psychic extractions of all the vehicles of the innermost that he assimilates in order to self-realize himself as a master of the Mahamandantra. 47. The innermost is the great and mighty fish that emerges from the waters of life in order to create the interior universe. 48. He is the Lord who lives within ourselves and before whom we bow and prostrate. 49. New, the overseer of the house of the overseer of the seal, triumphant, saith. Hail, thou serpent Rirek, advance not hither. Behold Seb and Shu. Stand still now, and thou shalt eat the rat which is an abominable thing unto Ra, and thou shalt crunch the bones of the filthy cat. The Book of the Dead, chapter 33, of repulsing serpents. 50. The serpent Rirek is the serpent of fornication that trembles before the living God and that crunches the bones of the filthy cat, by sinking it into the abyss of desperation. 51. I am the divine crocodile Sebek. I am the flame of 3 wicks, and my wicks are immortal. I enter in the region of Sikkim. I enter in the region of the flames that have defeated my adversaries. The Book of the Dead. 52. The divine crocodile Sebek is the innermost. 53. The innermost is the flame with 3 small wicks. 54. These 3 wicks are the divine soul, the human soul and the Christ mind. 55. We enter nirvana when we have defeated our adversaries, when we have defeated the tempting serpent of Eden, when we have defeated the four bodies of sin. 56. It is necessary to not spill even a single drop of semen. 57. It is necessary to make our seminal energy rise to our brain through the two ganglionic cords, in order to make the sacred serpent kundalini rise up the spinal medulla, through the 33 medullar vertebrae. 58. Terrific powers exist within each one of the 33 vertebrae. 59. As we enter each one of the 33 holy chambers, we learn divine wisdom. 60. These are the 7 loaves of bread brought as food to Horus. 61. We must eat from these 7 loaves of bread. 62. We must not eat filthiness. We must not eat anything abominable. 63. Anything filthy or abominable is known as fornication, adultery, hatred, selfishness, desire, envy, pseudo-spiritualist doctrines, etc. 64. All of this is abominable food. All of this is filthiness. 65. Let us eat from the 7 loaves of bread. Let us be nourished with divine wisdom. 66. We must make our seminal energy rise through the 2 witnesses. 67. These are the 2 olive trees of the temple. 68. These are the 2 candlesticks that are standing before the God of the earth. Chapter 13. The Chaos. 1. In the beginning God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form, and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, Let there be light, and there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day. And God said, Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament, and divided the waters that were under the firmament from the waters that were above the firmament, and it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. And God said, Let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear, and it was so. And God called the dry land earth. And the gathering together of the waters called he seas, and God saw that it was good. 2. If a human being wishes to create his bodies of liberation, in order to self-realize as a master of the Mahamanvantara, he must then create as God did, by fecundating his seminal system in order for the interior universe to emerge from it. 3. The chaos is the semen. If we wish to create as the gods, we must fecundate the chaos with the vivifying fire in order for our bodies of perfection, with which we realize ourselves as masters of the Mahamanvantara, to emerge from it. 4. The chaos is a mixture of water and fire. 5. The chaos holds the seeds of the cosmos. 6. The water of the chaos is the receptacle of the fire. 7. The earth is reduced to water, and the water is the receptacle of the fire. 8. Our material body, which is our individual earth, is reduced to the water of the semen. Thus, if we fecundate the chaos of the semen with the fire of the spirit, the child of gold of sexual alchemy emerges. He is the intimate Christ who ascends to the Father and who makes us kings and queens, priests and priestesses of the universe. 9. Genesis is a book of alchemy. 10. Hence, if we wish to create our interior universe, we must create as God did when he created the universe. 11. It is necessary to divide the waters from the waters in order to place these, the waters, above, in our divine heaven, firmament, where the glory of the innermost, spirit, shines. This is achieved by placing what is material and crude into the profundity of the abyss, and by raising our Christic force by sublimating our seminal energy. 12. This is a work of sexual alchemy. 1-3. This is why Hermes Trismegistus states, Separate that spirituous earth from the dense or crude by means of a gentle heat, with much attention. In great measure it ascends from the earth up to heaven, and descends again, newborn, on the earth, and the superior and the inferior are increased in power. The Emerald Tablet. 14. This is our blessed work of the great work. 15. It is necessary to work over our chaos in order to separate the darkness from the light and to give to the darkness the abode of our God. 16. We must make Genesis within ourselves. 17. Hermes Trismegistus states. The superior agrees with the inferior, and the inferior with the superior, to effect that one truly wonderful work. The Emerald Tablet. 18. The chaos of the universe resides here and now in our seminal system. If God had to fecundate the waters of the chaos with the fire in order to create the universe, we must do the same by fecundating the waters of our chaos, which is our semen, with the fire of the Kundalini. This is done in order to make our interior universe emerge and to convert ourselves into ineffable gods. This is known as sexual alchemy. 19. The supercelestial waters of the chaos are pure semen, and from this semen the universe emerged. 20. This supercelestial water of Genesis is a very pure, flexible and inflamed substance, but it never consumes itself. 21. This is the paradise where Adam lived before the downfall. 22. Let us fecundate the chaos, semen. Let us divide the waters from the waters, by placing what is material and crude into the abyss and by placing the divine and sublime within our interior firmament. This is how we can convert ourselves into gods of the universe. 23. Our seminal system, our earth, is now void and entirely without form. The darkness is now upon the face of the abyss and the Spirit of God is moving upon the face of our seminal waters. 24. Let us create light, brethren, let us create it by extracting the light from the darkness by means of sexual magic. 25. The light is good, let us depart ourselves from the darkness. 26. Let us divide the waters from the waters, in other words, the light from the darkness, and let us gather the tenebrous waters in the abyss in order to discover the dry matter, which is a rich interior universe, the bodies of perfection. Thus, we self-realize as masters of the interior in the delicate Eden, where the lights of the heaven shine and from where every living creature emerges. 27. Let us perform Genesis within ourselves, by means of sexual alchemy. 28. The Book of Genesis is a treatise of sexual alchemy. 29. The superior agrees with the inferior. 30. The macrocosmic chaos is also in the microcosms. 31. The waters of the chaos are in our sexual glands. 32. These waters are the semen. 33. If God had to fecundate the waters in order to create the universe, then we must do the same within ourselves. 34. These waters are the semen of our sexual organs. 35. So, we have then found the key of perpetual movement. 36. Thus, when we will be gods, we will make majestic universes emerge from within the terrific profundity of our superlative consciousness, by fecundating the semen with the fire. 37. When the disciples and masters want to enter a new initiation, they must then ask to the logos of the solar system. 38. However, when the master is liberated from the four bodies of sin, he does not need to ask to enter because he has entered the worlds of the gods and he is also a god. 39. The master who has reached these heights knows that in order to enter a higher initiation he must fecundate his chaos in order to make new internal creations. This signifies new responsibilities before the karmic laws. 40. We, the masters, are incessantly fecundating our chaos, in order to create internal universes, each time more grandiose, each time more perfect. 41. The more grandiose these internal universes are, the more karmic responsibilities the creators have. 42. This is why we, the Buddhas, do not need to ask the logos in order to enter new initiations. 43. We, the Buddhas, now have a sufficient age in order to comprehend the solemn responsibility of any interior creation. 44. The Logos, who is now capable of creating a solar system and crystallizing it with the Tattwas, has a very grave karmic responsibility, immensely more grave than that of the Arhat. 45. A Logos creates when fecundating his own sexual, seminal chaos. 46. Therefore, we convert ourselves into ineffable gods, into solar Logos, into constellar Logos, etc., by fecundating our chaos. 47. The Book of Genesis encloses the key of continuous movement. 48. The Book of Genesis is a book of palpitating actualities. 49. The Book of Genesis is a treatise of sexual alchemy. 50. We have now found the key of perpetual movement, the elixir of long life, and the philosophical stone. 51. We must now enter the world of the gods. 52. There is the necessity to enter the kingdom of the Superman. 53. We must elevate ourselves to the superhuman kingdom. 54. We must convert ourselves into hierarchs of the fire. Chapter 14. The Tattvas of Nature. 1. Tattva is vibration of the ether. 2. The Tattvas are the soul of the elements. 3. The Tattvas are the elements within ourselves. 4. When the Logos fecundates the chaos, the Tattvas enter into activity. 5. The elements earth, water, air and fire exist in all the planes of the cosmic consciousness. 6. These elements in the internal worlds are known as Tattwas. 7. Alchemy is based on the chaos and on the Tattwas. 8. Akasa is the principle of the ether. 9. Vayu is the principle of the air. 10. Tejas is the principle of the fire. 11. Apis is the principle of the water. 12. Prithvi is the principle of the earth. 1-3. The Anyapataka and Adi Tattvas are completely spiritual. 14. In the physical world, the Tattvas Akasa, Vayu, Tejas, Apis and Prithvi are simply known as elements of nature. 15. The most exact Tattvic timetable is the one of nature. 16. Days with wind and hurricanes are influenced by Vayu. 17. When the weather is very hot and sunny the Tattva Tejas is vibrating. 18. Rainy days are influenced by Apis. 19. Beautiful spring days are influenced by Prithvi. 20. Tedious and monotonous hours are influenced by Akasa. 21. The Tattvas live in incessant alchemical transmutations. 22. Alchemy is based on the chaos and on the Tattvas. 23. A master of metallic transmutations is also a master of the Tattvas. 24. What is a flash of lightning? 25. A flash of lightning is transmuted earth. 26. A flash of lightning is Prithvi transmuted into Tejas. 27. The earth is transmuted into water, the water into air, and the air into fire. 28. Prithvi is transmuted into Apis, Apis evaporates into Vayu, and Vayu transforms itself into Tejas. 29. All of these Tattvic transmutations are based on the chaos, in other words, on the semen of nature, on the crystonic substance of the solar Logos. 30. The Tattvic transmutations are the causa causorum of the transmutations of the elements of nature. 31. If the earth is reduced to water it is because Prithvi is reduced to Apis. This is a Tattvic transmutation. 32. If the water converts itself into air and the air into fire, it is because Apis is transmuted into Vayu, and Vayu is transmuted into Tejas. 33. Therefore, the souls of the elements live in incessant alchemical transmutations. This is why we see the earth being reduced into water, the water into air, and the air into fire. 34. All these transmutations of the elements of nature are verified not only externally, but also internally in all the planes of the cosmic consciousness. 35. This is verified not only in the planet Earth, but also in the planet human being. 36. The Tattvic transmutations are sexual alchemy. 37. in the planet human being, we see how Prithvi is diminished into water, in other words, into semen, and we see this seminal chaos being transmuted into subtle steam. This steam of Vayu is at last transmuted into Tejas, in other words, into fire. 38. The doctrine of the Tattwas is transcendental because the supreme keys of sexual magic are enclosed in it. 39. The earth is converted into water by movement. This occurs when the water of the heating system of the interior of the earth penetrates through its conductors in the form of subtle steam. 40. The earth, having the nature of salt, is then reduced to water. This water evaporates until it is converted into air by means of heat. Then, after a certain time of digestion, it is converted into thunder and flashes of lightning, in other words, into fire. 41. This is how Prithvi, earth, is converted into Apis, water. 42. This is how Apis is transformed into Vayu, air. 43. This is how Vayu is transformed into Tejas, fire. 44. All of these Tattvic transmutations are performed by means of the chaos, Christonic semen. 45. All of these Tattvic transmutations are sexual alchemy. 46. All of these Tattvic transmutations are verified within our organic laboratory, when we are practicing sexual magic. 47. During sexual excitement, our earth, that is to say, our human organism, is reduced into water, in other words, semen. 48. While in the state of erection, the virile member increases the amount of semen within the vessels of the sexual glands. 49. This is how the sexual heat acts by transmuting our individual earth into pure water, into Christonic semen. 50. This water, semen, is transmuted into the very subtle seminal vapors which ascend through our two ganglionic cords towards the chalice of the brain, when we restrain the sexual impulse. 51. After some time of digestion, the solar and lunar currents of our seminal vapors make contact next to the triveni, over the sacrum bone. This is in order for the sacred fire of Kundalini to sprout. 52. This is how Prithvi is transmuted into Apis. 53. This is how Apis is transmuted into Vayu. 54. This is how Vayu is transmuted into Tejas. 55. This is how we become masters of the Tattwas. 56. When a logos fecundates his chaos, he produces a series of Tattvic transmutations, which crystallize in the end as the physical elements of nature. 57. This is how the logos can create solar systems and populate them with all types of beings. 58. Hence, we also fecundate our chaos with the sacred fire of Kundalini during our trances of sexual magic. The outcome is a series of Tattvic transmutations within our own organic laboratory, which culminate with the self-realization of the King's Son, the master of metallic transmutations within the living profundities of our interior consciousness. Chapter 15. Divine Fohat. 1. The invisible stars that palpitate within the profundities of the infinite are ineffable flames. 2. We are detached sparks from these eternal flames. 3. Before the spark is unfastened from the flame, it is the very flame itself. 4. We were those flames. 5. We were those ineffable logoi, who in the dawn of life fecundated the chaos with our sacred fire, so that the seed plot of the cosmos could sprout from within the waters of life. 6. These supracelestial waters are pure semen. 7. Such waters are enclosed within our sexual glands. 8. The air and the fire of these waters are the ineffable Eden, which resides within our own selves, inside the depths of our consciousness. 9. The Holy Bible reveals to us about these waters in the first chapter of the book of Genesis. 10. The book of Daniel, chapter 3, verse 6 also reveals to us about these waters. Psalm 104 verse 3 narrates to us about the supracelestial waters from the universal chaos. 11. This chaos is our Christonic semen. 12. Such a flexible and malleable liquid is an inflamed substance, which constitutes the abode of the angels, seraphims, thrones, virtues, potencies, etc. 13. this Christic substance is the chaos and life sprouts from within it. 14. This chaos is Christ in substance, the liquid Christ who abides within our sexual glands. 15. The supracelestial waters are co-penetrated by the supracelestial air and by the divine fire, where the divine gods of the unalterable infinite abide. 16. If we spill those waters during the trance of sexual magic, then we also spill the supracelestial air and the divine fire which lives within those waters. 17. This is how we sank into our own atomic infernos and into worlds of darkness, where nothing but the weeping and gnashing of teeth are heard. 18. The fire and the air are superior elements. 19. The fire in its absolute simplicity is the summum of all perfections. 20. The air cannot achieve the penetration of the fire into its very essence, neither can it be fused with it because of being less pure. However, the air does it, only when it has been purified in an absolute way. 21. Elemental fire is concentrated within the luminaries of heaven. 22. Those luminaries are the ineffable stars, the planetary logoi, who send their rays in order to help us in our cosmic evolution. 23. The fire purifies all things by transmuting them into ineffable perfections. 24. The fire acts in the center of each planet and within the heart of all life. 25. The fire has his habitat within the water. Thus, if we spill the water, then we also spill the fire. Consequently, we remain in darkness. 26. Sexual movement provokes emotion. Emotion puts respiration or air into motion. Then, the air insufflates life upon the fire when the solar and lunar atoms make contact in the coccyx. 27. This is how the Kundalini is awakened and this is how we achieve fusion with the innermost. 28. The fire cannot tolerate the crude water, but it must transmute it into subtle steam by means of heat. 29. When the steam is transmuted into solar and lunar currents, the water is then sufficiently transmuted and purified in order to be eternally fused with the fire of the Kundalini. 30. This work is sexual alchemy. 31. The fire purifies the air purifies the water, and the water purifies the earth with the continuous movement of the fire. 32. This is how the elements, one with the other, are being purified. 33. The water, or semen, acts upon the fire by confining it in our sexual organs, in order to elevate it upwards through our spinal column. 34. The fire works upon our four bodies of sin, in order to elevate them towards their own degree of perfection. 35. We extract the pure oil of the Spirit from our four bodies of sin by means of the fire. 36. This oil is lit when it is deprived of its impurities. Then, it burns as an ineffable flame. 37. This is how it acts in the planet human being, by removing the unevenness of the elements and carrying all of them to perfection, in order to convert them into living fire. 38. This is how the fire purifies the elements before assimilating them in a total manner. 39. In nature, we see the earth reduced to water, the water transmuted into air, such as into clouds, and finally into fire, such as thunder and flashes of lightning. 40. This fire of heaven provokes rain, and the rain gives life to the womb of the seeds in order for life to sprout. 41. These repeated irrigations work on the seeds of the earth, where the fire of the strong and active life is enclosed. 42. When the waters of heaven act upon the seeds in order to make the fire of life sprout from them, it is pure sexual alchemy. 43. When the fire of Kundalini acts upon our seminal seeds, it makes an interior atomic universe sprout from within our interior life. This universe is filled with ineffable perfections. 44. This is how the planet human being, clean of impurities, consubstantiates himself with the fire of the Spirit. Thus, he becomes an eternal flame. 45. The ancient phoenix nourishes itself with the sacred fire within its rebel eagle's nest, and its fledglings pull off its eyes. This produces the immaculate whiteness of the ineffable Spirit, who shines in the corners of the universe. 46. This is how we transmute all of our metals into the pure gold of the Spirit. 47. This is the Great Arcanum. 48. All the initiates who wanted to spread the Great Arcanum prior to me have died. 49. In the Middle Ages, all the initiates who tried to divulge the Great Arcanum were killed. Some were killed by means of the shirts of Nessus, some were poisoned by perfumed bouquets, some died by the dagger, or by the scaffold. 50. In the ancient Egypt of the pharaohs, those who intended to divulge the Great Arcanum were sentenced to the death penalty. 51. Their head was cut off, their heart was torn out and their ashes were thrown into the four winds. 52. There exists only one man in life who divulged the Great Arcanum and who did not die. 53. I am that man, I am Samael Aun Weor. Chapter 16. The 7 Days of Creation. 1. Let us now enter into the alchemical spagyrism. 2. Spagyria or spagyric medicine comes from the Greek span, to extract, and agyris, to reunite. 3. Therefore, spagyrism means to extract and reunite. 4. All the great arcanums of occult medicine are found in Eden and Eden is sex itself. 5. The chaos exists within all plants and the Tattwas are inside the chaos. 6. The chaos of every plant is the semen. 7. The same occurs with the plant human being. 8. The chaos of the human being resides within his sexual glands. 9. We transmute the Tattwas when we fecundate the chaos. 10. The chaotic semen is the crystonic substance of the solar logos. All the faculties of the human being are based upon it. 11. Plants become beautiful, they flourish and fill with fruits when their semen enters into activity. 12. However, plants become filled with sadness, they wither and die when their vegetal semen weakens or dries. 13. The same occurs with human beings, they become filled with beauty, life and happiness when they transmute their seminal energy. However, when they waste their semen in animal passions, they then fill themselves with darkness and death. 14. The spagyrists were crushing the plants in order to squeeze the juice out from them. 15. They then were depositing the juice into a very well-closed container and were placing it in a fresh place, until achieving a complete fermentation. 16. When the fermentation process was completed, they then were placing the container on a furnace with the goal of making the alcohol to ascend. 17. It is necessary to bake, bake and rebake and to not ever tire of it. 18. Alcohol raises itself in the form of striae. It is necessary to boil the fermentation and distill it 7 times. 19. In the 7th distillation, all mucosity, or phlegm has completely disappeared. 20. The phlegm is separated from the alcohol in every distillation. 21. The alcohol is pure, and it is pure wine of light in the 7th distillation. 22. The extraction of the alcohol or pure essence of vegetables is obtained by crushing a great quantity of plants and gathering their juices in order to ferment them and to distill them 7 times. 23. What is important is to separate the spirit from the phlegm or mucosity. 24. However, the phlegm also has to be distilled by means of alchemical methods, because it is a substance which has notable virtues. 25. The tartar remains fastened to the barrel. It is the salt of the vegetable, which can be wisely extracted for medicinal use. 26. This salt has 2 aspects, fixed salt and volatile salt. 27. The very precious arcanum which we must extract from plants, in accordance with the spagyist doctrine, is the Christic substance, the immortal logos who sleeps huddled in the profundity of the temple. 28. Here, rhythm, planet, zodiac and Tattwas are combined. 29. Nevertheless, we have to warn the Gnostic students that when the medieval spagyrists were referring to plants, they were not referring to vegetation, but to the plant human being. 30. Therefore, the whole spagyrism of Philippus Theophrastus Bombastus von Hohenheim, Aurelius Paracelsus, and his disciples is absolutely sexual. 31. It is necessary to gather our Christonic semen in order to extract the fire from it. 32. We gather all our sexual juices and we store them in a fresh place by means of chastity. 33. Such a place is our sexual glands. 34. It is necessary to distill by intensely practicing sexual magic with our spouse. 35. This is how the striae are evaporated in each distillation. Thus, we attain the king crowned with the red diadem, the sun king, the triumphant magi of the serpent. 36. The salt from the semen is fixed and volatile. 37. The volatile salt of the man is transferred into the larynx of the woman, and the volatile salt of the woman is transferred into the larynx of the man. 38. This is how we prepare our larynx in order to utter the verb of gold. 39. The glandular biorhythm is in all of its euphoria during the practices of sexual magic. 40. The 7 planets of our solar system are intimately related with the 7 snakes. 41. We develop ourselves within the zodiacal uterus with sexual alchemy. 42. Sexual transmutation provokes tattwic transmutations, because the tattwas are within the semen. 43. We make the snake rise up with each alchemical distillation. 44. The 7 snakes are upon the reed of our spinal column in the 7th distillation. 45. Our father star is the planet which directs us. 46. Thus, Gnostic spagyrism is simply sexual alchemy. 47. The unique thing which is important for us, the Gnostics, is to make our 7 serpents rise up. 48. In ancient times, our 7 serpents were upon the reed. This was when we were vegetal elementals. 49. However, when we fell, those 7 serpents descended from our spinal column. Consequently, they remained enclosed inside the chakra muladhara, which is in the coccygeal bone. 50. What is natural and normal is to have the 7 serpents upon the reed. 51. What is unnatural, abnormal, and absurd is to have the 7 serpents fallen and enclosed within the chakra muladhara. 52. Therefore, we the Gnostics want to be normal humans, supermen, superhuman beings, and this is why we work with sexual alchemy in order to fecundate our chaos and to convert ourselves into gods. 53. The 7 serpents are the 7 distillations of spagyrism. 54. The 7 serpents are the 7 days of creation. 55. The 7 serpents are the 7 great initiations of major mysteries. 56. In 7 days, which means, in 7 great initiations of major mysteries, we create our interior universe. This occurs when we fecundate our sexual chaos by intensely practicing sexual magic with our spouse. 57. When we raise the 7 serpents upon the reed, we then become normal beings, as we were before the downfall. 58. The huge multitudes of superhuman beings are happy when a human being ceases to be an abnormal being and raises the 7 serpents upon the reed. 59. The Holy Bible, which is a sacred book of the Gnostics, speaks to us of the 7 distillations when it describes the young Jews who were unhurt in the fiery furnace. 60. Nebuchadnezzar the king made an image of gold, whose height was 60 cubits, and the breadth thereof 6 cubits, he set it up in the plain Dura, in the province of Babylon. 61. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent to gather together the princes, the governors, and the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces, to come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. 62. Then the princes, the governors, and captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces, were gathered together unto the dedication of the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. And they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. 63. Then an herald cried aloud, To you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages. 64. That at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king hath set up. 65. And whoso falleth not down and worshipped shall the same hour be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. 66. Therefore at that time, when all the people heard the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and all kinds of music, all the people, the nations, and the languages, fell down and worshipped the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. 67. Wherefore at that time certain Chaldeans came near, and accused the Jews. 68. They spake and said to the king Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. 69. Thou, O king, hast made a decree, that every man that shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, shall fall down and worship the golden image. 70. And whoso falleth not down and worshippeth, that he should be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. 71. There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee, they serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. 72. Then Nebuchadnezzar in his rage and fury commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. 73. Nebuchadnezzar spoke and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? 74. Now if ye be ready that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well, but if ye worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace, and who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands? 75. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. 76. If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. 77. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. 78. Then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake, and commanded that they should heat the furnace 17 times more than it was wont to be heated. 79. And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace. 80. Then these men were bound in their coats, their hosen, and their hats, and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. 81. Therefore because the king's commandment was urgent, and the furnace exceeding hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. 82. And these 3 men Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. 83. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished, and rose up in haste, and spake, and said unto his counselors, Did not we cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire? They answered and said unto the king, True, O king. 84. He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt, and the form of the 4th is like the Son of God. 85. Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace, and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of the Most High God, come forth, and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth of the midst of the fire. 86. And the princes, governors, and captains, and the king counselors, being gathered together, saw these men, upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was a hair of their head singed, neither were their coats changed. nor the smell of fire had passed on them. 87. Then Nebuchadnezzar spake, and said, Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who hath sent his angel, and delivered his servants that trusted in him, and have changed the king's word, and yielded their bodies. That they might not serve nor worship any god, except their own God. 88. Therefore I make a decree, that every people, nation, and language, which speak anything, amiss against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, shall be cut in pieces, and their house shall be made a dunghill. Because there is no other God that can deliver after this sort. 89. Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, in the province of Babylon. Daniel 3. 90. The statue of gold that the unhurt young Jews did not worship is the abominable food, the filthy food of theosophy, spiritism, pseudo-Rosicrucianism, Ferrierism, politics, and other food offered unto idols. 91. Such abominable food on Jezebel's table is the statue of gold that the young unhurt men did not worship. 92. The furnace was lit 7 times. 93. These are the 7 distillations of alchemy. 94. These are the 7 serpents that we must raise upon the reed. These are the 7 days of our profound creation. 95. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego are the physical, vital and astral bodies. 96. The 4th young man who was like the Son of God is the Christ mind of anyone who is liberated from the 4 bodies of sin. 97. Therefore, it is necessary to ignite the fiery furnace 7 times, in order to convert ourselves into kings and queens, into lords of the universe. Chapter 17. Simon the Magician. 1. When I was in the supersensible worlds, 2 books came into my hands. 2. The first one was from Simon the Magician, and the other one was from the Samaritan Menander, who reached the pinnacle of magical science. 3. After consulting these 2 books, I invoked Simon the Magician. 4. I made the invocation in the name of Christ. 5. Simon the Magician then answered and told me, Do not invoke me in the name of Christ, call me in the name of Peter. 6. I then understood that Simon the Magician is the opposite pole of Simon Peter. 7. I penetrated into a precious abode where I found Simon the Magician with his college of faithful disciples. 8. When Simon saw me entering he exclaimed in a rude tone, You, get out of here. 9. As he approached me he touched certain chakras of my lower abdomen. 10. I then understood that Simon the Magician is in reality a black magician. 11. I proceeded to defend myself with the flaming sword and this black magician remained astonished before the torrents of burning fire. Thus, without daring to look at my sword, he remained absorbed. 12. I knew Simon the Magician in ancient Rome. I heard him preaching to his disciples. 13. Evilness is so fine and delicate that even the master H. P. Blavatsky firmly believed that Simon the Magician was a master of the White Lodge. 14. Master Huiracocha also believed that Simon the Magician was a great Gnostic master, and he told us that everything that Papus and other authors have taught in the past years about magic was taken from Simon the Magician. 1-5. The only one who was not mistaken with respect to Simon the Magician was Dante Alighieri in his Divine Comedy. 1-6. Dante called the disciples of Simon the Magician simoniacs. 17. The Romans built statues in honor of him, with the inscription, Simoni Deo Sanctu. 18. However, when attentively studying the books of Simon the Magician, apparently there is nothing that can be condemned as black magic. 19. Evilness is so fine in the world of the mind. Evilness is so delicate and subtle in the plane of cosmic understanding that in reality a lot of intuition is needed in order not to be cheated by the demons of the mental world. 20. The black magicians are millions of times more fine and delicate in the mental plane than the black magicians of the astral plane. 21. Simon the Magician states the following. 22. Now he, the Father, is one, for whilst he contained that power within himself he was single, nevertheless he was not the first, although he was pre-existent, but when he was manifested to himself out of himself, he became second, or dual. And neither was he named the Father, before that power called him Father. In the like manner therefore as the drawing forth himself out of himself manifested unto himself his own intelligence, so did this intelligence also, when manifested, not create, but contemplate him. And thereby stood up the Father within herself, that is to say, the power. And this power, dynamis, and this intelligence, epinola, likewise is both a male and female power, on which account they answer to one another, for the power differs not all from the intelligence, being one and the same. From that which is above, indeed, is formed the power, from that which is below, the intelligence. Of the same kind therefore is the unity, which is manifested out of them both, for being one it is found to be twain. Both male and female, containing within itself the female. In this manner the mind exists within the intelligence, which, when severed from each other, although they are one, are found to be two. The Gnostics and their remains, Simonianism, page 68, quoted in The Secret Doctrine. 23. Really, whosoever reads this paragraph will not find anything that can condemn Simon the magician as a black magician. 24. The key is given to us from Dante in his book entitled The Divine Comedy. 25. In Dante's Inferno, he described Simon the magician and all the sorcerers that he denominated as simoniacs as walking in the inferno with their heads facing backwards. 26. The black magic of Simon the magician is that he remained looking towards the past and he did not want to accept Christ or the new Christic current. 27. This is a rebellion against the divine hierarchy and, in fact, Simon the magician remains situated in the worlds of black magic. 28. Whosoever attentively studies the teachings of Simon the magician will discover that Simon the magician does not speak one word in favor of Christ. 29. Simon the magician saw that the spark was separated from the flame itself, without remembering the words of the divine Rabbi of Galilee, "No man cometh unto the Father, but by me." 30. Simon the magician saw the Father hidden within him and he wanted to self-realize him within, but by rejecting Christ. Thus, this in fact is how he fell into black magic. 31. Simon the magician fell into black magic by dint of pride. 32. Simon the magician did not want to accept Christ due to mere pride. 33. Something similar is happening now in this 20th century, with many spiritualists that do not want to accept my teachings due to mere pride. 34. These types of simoniac beings fall into black magic due to mere pride. 35. Simon the magician knew the great arcanum and he was completely chaste. 36. The Master Huiracocha, on page 50 of the book The Gnostic Church, quoted a paragraph from the book The Preaching of Simon the Magician, that states, 37. Unto you I speak in metaphors, but you must comprehend what I say. There are two stalks of all the aeons put together, having neither beginning nor end, springing out of one root, the which is the infinite power, the invisible silence. Of which stalks, the one shows itself from above, the which is a great power, understanding of the all, pervading all things, and of the male sex. The other showing itself from below, is the great mind, and is of the female sex. Generating all things. The resolution of all problems is in the union of the two. The power itself is both male and female. 38. At that time, Simon the magician profoundly knew about sexual alchemy and the great arcanum. 39. However, Lai fell into black magic because he continued to look into the past and he did not want to accept Christ. 40. The mind is then the most dangerous animal of the alchemist. 41. If Simon Magus had dominated the mind with the whip of willpower he would not have fallen into the abyss. 42. The alchemist who lets himself be carried away by the reasoning of his mind's pride fails in the great work and falls into the abyss. 43. The alchemist must be very humble before the divine hierarchies in order not to fail in the great work. 44. The mind must become as a humble and simple child. 45. The mind must humiliate itself before the divine hierarchies. 46. The mind must humiliate itself before the majesty of the innermost. 47. It is impossible to rise to the Father without elaborating the child of gold of sexual alchemy. 48. This child of gold is the intimate Christ. 49. It is necessary to form Christ within ourselves in order to rise to the Father. 50. Very subtle dangers are present in the work of the blessed stone that the alchemist must courageously conjure. 51. There are black magicians in the mental world who appear as adepts of the white fraternity. 52. These black magicians have a sublime appearance and an exquisite spiritual culture. 53. When these magicians speak, they speak only of love, light, truth, and justice. 54. They appear as ineffable beings and we discover that they are black magicians only when they advise us, in a very fine and delicate tone, to ejaculate the semen. 55. If in that moment we scream, "Hail, Christ! Down with Jav!" we will then see them stand angrily against us in order to force us to go out from their abode. 56. All these brothers of the darkness advise the seminal ejaculation and they hate the Christic force. 57. Thus, evilness revests itself with subtle deceitfulness. Therefore, the disciple must open his eyes very well and be alert and vigilant as the watchman in the time of war. 58. There are adepts of the darkness who disguise themselves as Mahatmas and present themselves before us in the internal worlds. This is in order to tell us that we have fallen and have failed in our longing for the light and that we have lost the degrees that we had acquired, etc., etc. 59. Therefore, if the disciple slips on this peel, he inevitably falls into the abyss. 60. The mind must not rationalize. 61. The mind must integrally flow without the battle of antithesis. The mind must convert itself into a flexible and delicate instrument through which the majesty of the innermost can be expressed. 62. Pride caused Simon the magician to fall into the abyss of black magic. 63. And when Simon saw that through laying on of the apostles' hands the Holy Ghost was given, he offered them money. 64. Saying, "Give me also this power, that on whomsoever I lay hands, he may receive the Holy Ghost." 65. But Peter said unto him, Thy money perish with thee, because thou hast thought that the gift of God may be purchased with money. 66. Thou hast neither part nor lot in this matter, for thy heart is not right in the sight of God. 67. Repent therefore of this thy wickedness, and pray God, if perhaps the thought of thy heart may be forgiven thee. 68. For I perceive that thou art in the gall of bitterness, and in the bond of iniquity. 69. Then answered Simon, and said, Pray ye to the Lord for me, that none of these things which ye have spoken come upon me. The Acts, 8:18-24. 70. With these verses of the sacred scriptures, our affirmation is absolutely proven that Simon Magus is a very dangerous black magician. Chapter 18. The Room of Maat. 1. Hail, Phallus of Ra, who departest from thy calamity, Ariseth, through opposition. The cycles have been without movement for millions of years. I am stronger than the strong, I am mightier than the mighty. If I sail away or if I be snatched away to the east through the two horns, or, as others say, if any evil and abominable thing be done unto me at the feast of the devils, the Phallus of Ra shall be swallowed up, along with the head of Osiris. Book of the Dead, chapter 93, verses 1-5. 2. When the Phallus of Ra departs from its calamity which arises through the opposition, we then liberate ourselves from the four bodies of sin and we enter into the ineffable joy of nirvana. 3. However, the Phallus of Ra and the head of Osiris could lose their power if we fornicate at the demon's bacchanalia. 4. When the human being liberates himself from the four bodies of sin, he enters the room of the double Maat. 5. The name of this room is Justice and Truth. 6. there is an inscription on the upper sheet of the door of Maat that states, Lord of Maat on his 2 feet. 7. The lower sheet of the door Si named, Lord of the double vigor, conqueror of the cattle. 8. Whosoever liberates himself from the 4 bodies of sin is an imperator of the cosmic mind, a lord of the double vigor and a conqueror of mortal enemies. 9. In synthesis, this door is named, destroyer of the god Shu. 10. This god is our inferior personality who must die within, in order for our interior God to glorify himself. 11. When the human being liberates himself from the 4 bodies of sin, he enters the blessed bosom of the mother goddess of the world. 12. Lady of tremblings, with lofty walls, the sovereign lady, the mistress of destruction, who setteth in order the worlds which drive back the whirlwind and the storm, who delivereth from destruction him that travelleth along the way. 13. Lady of the pylons, lady whom abundant offerings are weighed, who giveth whatsoever is there, the guide of the offerings, who gratifieth the gods, who giveth the day for the sailing up of the boat Neshament to Abtu. 14. She who prevaileth with knives, the mistress of the 2 lands, who destroyeth the enemies of the still heart, who mocketh the decree for the escape of the needy from evil hap. 15. Lady of splendor, lady of praises, lofty one, Enibiarchert, the lady to whom supplications are made and to whom none entereth. 16. Lady to whom abundant supplications is made. The difference between whose height and breadth is unknown, the divine image, the strengthener out of the night, being born in the presence of the still heart. 17. Water flood which clotheth the feeble one weeper for that which she loveth, shrouding the body. 18. She that belongeth to her Lord, the mighty goddess, the gracious one, the lady who giveth birth to the divine form of her Lord, or as others say, who passeth through and traverseth, land. The head, which, is millions of cubits in depth and in height. 19. Blazing flame of Horus which cannot be extinguished, which having passed is followed by another, which is provided with tongues of flame that project to destroy, irresistible and impassable, any, by reason of the injury which it doeth. 20. Lofty of gates, who riseth up those who cry, who art terrible. 21. She who repeateth slaughters, who burneth up the fiends, the mistress of every pylon, the lady to whom acclamation is made on the day of hearing iniquity. 22. She who journeyeth about in the 2 lands, who destroyeth those who come with flashings and with fire, the lady of splendor, who hearkeneth to the word of the Lord every day. 23. When the company of the gods is led along their hands are, in, adoration before her face, and the watery abyss shineth with light by reason of those that are therein. 24. Mighty one of souls, red of hair, a Kabbat, who cometh forth by night, who destroyeth the fiends in their created forms which their hands give to the still heart in his hour, the one who cometh and goeth. 25. Lady of valor, destroyer of the ruddy ones, who celebrateth the Heker festivals, when, the fire is extinguished on the day of hearing, Ophi iniquity. 26. Lady of victory, whose hand goeth after the fiends, who burneth with flames of fire when she cometh forth, creator of the mysteries of the earth. 27. Mighty one in the horizon, lady of the ruddy ones, destroyer in blood, a Kabbat, power lady of flame. 28. Lover of flame, pure one, hearkening unto the. Behold, she, loveth to cut off the heads of the venerated ones, lady of the great house, destroyer of fiends at eventide. 29. Dispenser of strength, or as others say, of light, of the palace, the mighty one of the flame, the lady of the strength and of the writings of Ptah himself. 30. Stone of her lord, field with a serpent, clother, what she createth she hideth, taking possession of hearts, opener of herself. 31. Sword that smitteth Ct the utterance of its own name, goddess with face turned backwards, the unknown one, overthrower of him that draweth nigh to her flame. Book of the Dead, excerpts from chapter 145. 32. This blessed goddess is Isis, the mother of the world. 33. She is the goddess of nature. 34. The entire, immense nature is the blessed body of this mother goddess of the world. 35. When the alchemist liberates himself from the four bodies of sin, he enters the bosom of the blessed mother goddess of the world. 36. The negative confession recited by the deceased one before the 42 gods, who were found in the room of the double Maat, signifies the perfections that the alchemist must acquire in order to liberate himself from the four bodies of sin. 37. This conversation with the gods of the underworld, as it appears in the Book of the Dead, encloses all the esoterism of the fourth great initiation of major mysteries. 38. The deceased one who presents himself before the 42 judges is the one who has died in order to live for God. 39. We extract the Christ mind from the mental body by means of sexual alchemy. 40. Therefore, the alchemist must not be a slave of the mind. 41. We only extract the beautiful Helen, the divine mind, from the mental organism. 42. We will transcribe the negative confession. 43. This is how it appears in the Book of the Dead. 44. The scribe Nebseni, triumphant, saith. 1. Hail, thou whose strides are long, who comest forth from Anu, Heliopolis, I have not done iniquity. 2. Hail, thou who art embraced by flame, who comest forth from Kuraha, I have not robbed with violence. 3. Hail, thou divine nose, Fenty, who comest forth from Kamenu, Hermopolis, I have not done violence, any man. 4. Hail, thou who eatest shades, who comest forth from the place where the Nile riseth, I have not committed theft. 5. Hail, Nehahau, who comest forth from Restau, I have not slain man or woman. 6. Hail, thou double lion god, who comest forth from heaven, I have not made light the bushel. 7. Hail, thou whose 2 eyes are like flint, who comest forth, from Sechem, Letopolis, I have not acted deceitfully. 8. Hail, thou flame, who comest forth as, thou, goest back, I have not purloined the things which belong unto God. 9. Hail, thou crusher of bones, who comest forth from Suten-Henan, Heracleopolis, I have not uttered falsehood. 10. Hail, thou who makest the flame to wax strong, who comest forth from Het-Ka-Ta, Memphis, I have not carried away food. 11. Hail, Kurdi, i.e., the 2 sources of the Nile, who come forth from Amentet, I have not uttered evil words. 12. Hail, thou whose teeth shine, who comest forth from Tashi, i.e., the Fayum, I have attacked no man. 13. Hail, thou who dost consume blood, who comest forth from the house of slaughter, I have not killed the beasts, are the property of God. 14. Hail, thou who dost consume the entrails, who comest forth from the Mabbit chamber, I have not acted deceitfully. 15. Hail, thou God of right and truth, who comest forth from the city of double Mahdi, I have not laid waste the lands which have been plowed. 16. Hail, thou who goest backwards, who comest forth from the city of Bast, Bubastis, I have never pried into matters, make miscellaneous heath. 17. Hail, Adi, who comest forth from Anu, Heliopolis, I have not set my mouth in motion, any man. 18. Hail, thou who art doubly evil, who comest forth from the nome of Adi, I have not given way to wrath concerning myself without a cause. 19. Hail, thou serpent Wamenti, who comest forth from the house of slaughter, I have not defiled the wife of a man. 20. Hail, thou who lookest upon what is brought to him, who comest forth from the temple of Amsu, I have not committed any sin against purity. 21. Hail, chief of the divine princes, who comest forth from the city of Nehadu, I have not struck fear, any man. 22. Hail, Kemi, i.e., destroyer, who comest forth from the lake of Koi, I have not encroached upon, times and seasons. 23. Hail, thou who orderest speech, who comest forth from Urit, I have not been a man of anger. 24. Hail, thou child, who comest forth from the lake of Hecate, I have not made myself deaf to the words of right and truth. 25. Hail, thou disposer of speech, who comest forth from the city of Uns, I have not stirred up strife. 26. Hail, Busti, who comest forth from the secret city, I have made no man to weep. 27. Hail, thou whose face is turned backwards, who comest forth from the dwelling, I have not committed acts of impurity, neither have I lain with men. 28. Hail, leg of fire, who comest forth from Akeku, I have not eaten my heart. 29. Hail, Kenemti, who comest forth from the city of Kenemet, I have abused man. 30. Hail, thou bringest thine offering, who comest forth from the city of Sau, Sais, I have not acted with violence. 31. Hail, thou Lord of faces, who comest forth from the city of Chephet, I have not judged hastily. 32. Hail, thou who givest knowledge, who comest forth from Unth, I have not, and I have not taken vengeance upon the god. 33. Hail, thou Lord of two horns, who comest forth from Seishu, I have not multiplied, speech overmuch. 34. Hail, Nefertem, who comest forth from Hetkata, Memphis, I have not acted with deceit, and I have not worked wickedness. 35. Hail, Temsep, who comest forth from Tatu, I have not uttered curses, the king. 36. Hail, thou whose heart doth labor, who comest forth from the city Teti, I have not fouled water. 37. Hail, Ahi of the water, who comest forth from Nu, I have not made haughty my voice. 38. Hail, thou who givest commands to mankind, who comest forth from Sau, I have not cursed the god. 39. Hail, Nehebnefert, who comest forth from the lake of Nefer, I have not behaved with insolence. 40. Hail, Neheb, Cow, who comest forth from thy city, I have not sought for distinctions. 41. Hail, thou whose head is holy, who comest forth from thy habitation, I have not increased my wealth, except with such things that are justly mine own possessions. 42. Hail, thou who bringest thine own arm, who comest forth from Occurt, Underworld, I have not thought scorn of the God who is in my city. Chapter 19. Change nature, thus you shall find that which you are searching for. 1. Arnold of Villanova, Albert the Great, Raymond Lully and many other alchemists, give the designation of Mercury to the sperm or semen. 2. There is only one matter that serves as a foundation for the great work of the Father. 3. This crude matter of the great work is the sperm, which is designated as Mercury by the alchemists. 4. Mercury is the sperm of all metals. 5. Arnold of Villanova states that Mercury engenders the diverse metals in the bosom of the earth, according to the degree of sulphuration. 6. Therefore, Mercury revests the diverse metallic forms in accordance to the degree of baking. 7. In reality, each thing can be disarranged within its own elements. 8. With the help of heat, we can disarrange ice into water, because water is the element of ice. 9. Therefore, all the metals of the earth can be disarranged into Mercury, because Mercury is the crude matter of all the metals. 10. Mercury is the spermatic semen in which all the metals can be disarranged, because this is the element from which all things emerge. 11. The human being can be disarranged in the semen, because this is the element that he departed from. Each thing can be disarranged in its own elements from which it is composed. 12. Before the metals can be transmuted, firstly they must be reduced to their crude matter. 13. As well, before the human being can be redeemed for his sins and enter into the kingdom of heaven, he must firstly be reduced to his crude matter in order for him to be transmuted into the heavenly man that St. Paul spoke of. 14. For example, if I have a statue and I want to give this statue a completely new form, I must first of all reduce this statue to its crude matter by disarranging it in the same elements that it is composed of. 15. Then, with this crude matter, I form the statue in a completely new and totally different form. 16. As well, if we want to be transmuted into heavenly men, into masters of wisdom, we must be reduced to the sperm from which we were formed, in order to elaborate the intimate Christ, the child of gold of sexual alchemy. 17. Change nature, thus you shall find that which you are searching for. 18. The alchemists have said that our blessed stone has body, soul and spirit, and this is so. 19. Our imperfect body is our individual planet. 20. The soul is the fermentation of alchemy, because during the practices of sexual magic we penetrate into the worlds of darkness and of light, and into the worlds of fire and passion, from which we must pull out the light of the spirit. 21. It is necessary to take what is subtle from what is dense, and to take what is dry from what is humid. In other words, it is necessary to separate the waters from the waters in order for the dryness to appear. 22. This dryness is our divine earth, our interior universe taken from the waters of life. 23. The spirit is converted into body and the body into spirit. 24. With this we want to say that the semen is transformed into spirit and the spirit into semen. 2:5. The entire magisterium of the fire is performed with the water of the Father. 26. This blessed water dissolves all the metals of the earth. It dissolves all the elements of the human universe. It cooks and reduces all into their primitive elements in order to again make them into more perfect, pure, and ineffable forms. 27. This divine water cleans and whitens everything. 28. The azoth and the fire clean the brass, that is to say, they clean and completely remove all of its blackness. Semita Semite, by Villanova. 29. The water of our chaos unites the most different principles with the condition that they firstly have to be dissolved in the semen, in other words, into the water that we are made of. 30. This chaotic union is eternally inseparable. 31. The first teaching that Christ, the divine Rabbi of Galilee, gave us was to transmute the water into wine. 32. The first teaching of our divine Master was sexual alchemy. 33. Christ transmuted the water into wine in the nuptial wedding of Cana. 34. The first teaching that the divine Master gave us was sexual alchemy, when he opened the path of the initiation for all human beings. 35. It is necessary to transmute the water into the wine of light of the alchemist, in order to deeply self-realize ourselves as masters of the Mahamanvantara. 36. In this day and age, among Theosophism, Spiritism, Chirenzism, Parsifalism, Pseudo-Rosicrucianism, etc., sexual sublimation is often spoken of. Nonetheless, the inexperienced ignorant ones believe that sublimating is elevating. 37. These people want to sublimate impure forces without previously reducing them to the crude matter of the great work. 38. This is why all the ignorant spiritualists who eat at Jezebel's table and who eat food offered unto idols have failed. 39. If we wish to transmute or sublimate our sexual forces, then we must first of all be chaste and not spill even a single drop of semen. 40. We must reduce all the elements to their crude matter in order for them to be transmuted. 41. If we want to sublimate our lower passions, then we must first of all be chaste in order to reduce all our metals to the chaotic semen, and then to transmute them into the intimate Christ, into the child of Bethlehem. Into the child of gold of sexual alchemy. 42. Not a single fornicator can transmute his inferior personality into the gold of the Spirit. 43. Not a single fornicator can transmute his sinner personality into the heavenly man. 44. This is why all the fornicators, all the uncircumcised ones and all the satyrs of spiritualism have failed. 45. Neither sublimation nor transmutation can exist without first of all reducing our old personality into the semen from which it was formed. 46. Change nature, thus, ye shall find that which you are searching for. 47. Our water fortifies, whitens, cleans and gives life. 48. Our water first of all becomes black, then red, and it then suddenly turns into distinct colors. 49. This is how our magisterium is taken from one, is made with one, and is composed of 4 and 3, and are in one. Semita Semite, by Villanova. 50. This means that the magisterium is taken from the human being, it is composed of the 4 elements, and the body, soul, and spirit are all reduced to the semen. 51. Our blessed stone is corporeal and spiritual. 52. Our blessed stone is spiritual in its substance, however, the spirit has become corporeal in it, thanks to the union with the body. 53. Some call it fermentation, others call it bronze. Villanova. 54. Morienus states, the science of our magisterium is entirely comparable to the procreation of the human being, first of all, the coitus, secondly, the conception, third, the imbibition, fourth, the birth, fifth, the nutrition or nourishment. 55. Our sperm is united with our organism, which is called Mother Earth, by the medieval alchemists. This union with the semen is known in sexual alchemy as coitus. 56. Thus, the coitus of the alchemist is this union of the semen with our organism. 57. During the practice of sexual magic, the semen is raised to the chalice of the brain instead of being spilled. This is what sexual transmutation is. This is the coitus of medieval alchemists. 58. Macardus states, if our stone is not placed within the female's womb with the objective of being nourished, then it will not grow. 59. Well now, the female's womb that Macardus speaks of is our Mother Earth, our own human organism. 60. If we throw that stone out from our divine womb, we can then engender human beings condemned to death, but we cannot engender the king crowned with the red diadem, the Sun King of sexual alchemy. 61. It is said that when our organism retains its semen, then conception has taken place. 62. When we asseverate that the male must act upon the female, we are referring to the sexual contact with our spouse with this. Also, we want to affirm that our semen is acting upon the earth, that is to say, it is being transmuted within our own organic laboratory, in order to be converted into light and fire. 63. Thus, our magisterium is masculine and feminine at the same time. 64. We say that there is imbibition when the sexual fluids are assimilated by our organism after withdrawing from our spouse. 65. This fermentation is then thickened within our imperfect body. Thus, we say that there is conception. 66. Then comes the birth of our king. 67. The crowd say, worship our king coming from the fire crowned with a diadem of gold. Obey him until he reaches the age of perfection. Feed him until he is great. His father is the sun, his mother is the moon. The moon is the imperfect body. The sun is the perfect body. 68. Finally, his nourishment arrives. 69. The Sun King feeds himself with his own milk. 70. This milk is the sperm that engendered him. 71. The more he is nourished, the better, because he will grow more rapidly. He will fertilize himself and he will be strong in a total way. 72. Therefore, change nature, thus, you shall find that which you are searching for. Chapter 20. Salt, Sulphur and Mercury. 1. Salt is the substance of all things, and the fixed principle of all that exists. 2. Salt works upon the sulphur and the mercury. Thus, sulphur and mercury make the salt volatile, just as they are. 3. Salt thickens them and makes them fixed in return. 4. When salt is dissolved in an appropriate liquor, then it dissolves solid things and gives them consistency. 5. Salt gives a form of perfection to the child of gold of sexual alchemy. 6. Salt dissolves our metals in order to elaborate the child of gold of sexual alchemy with them. 7. The volatile salt prepares the larynx in order to speak the verb of gold. 8. Salt dissolves and thickens all things. 9. The earth has the nature of salt. This is why it is dissolved in water and thickened in water. 10. The continents emerge from the salty waters of the sea and then return to the sea. 11. Our philosophical earth, which is our human body, must be reduced to its seminal salts in order to elaborate the child of gold of sexual alchemy. 12. Sulphur is a gaseous and oily principle that insolubly unites salt and mercury. 13. Sulphur is partially solid from the salt and partially volatile from the mercury. 1-4. Sulphur powerfully coagulates the acid mercury, thanks to the salt. 15. Mercury is a spiritual liquor, aerial and rare. 16. Mercury is the flying eagle of philosophy. 17. Mercury is our chaos. 18. Mercury is our semen. 19. Salt is found in the urine and in the sweat. 20. Sulphur is abundantly present in the body's grease and in the armpit. 21. Mercury is within the blood, medulla, aqueous humor, bone, muscle, etc. Chapter 21. Species of salt. 1. There are two types of salt, one is masculine and the other feminine. 2. The male salt damages the human organism when it is excessively used. 3. The female salt is beneficial and healthy. 4. The male salt is sea salt. 5. The female salt is rock salt, it is the salt from the salt mines. 6. The alchemist must prefer the female salt. 7. 12 fundamental salts exist which are governed by the 12 zodiacal signs. 8. Illness appears when these 12 zodiacal salts are not well balanced within our human organism. 9. To synthesize, these 12 zodiacal salts give a form of perfection to the 12 bodies that the inhabitants of the mist of fire use. 10. The 12 zodiacal salts convert the human being into a splendorous zodiac. 11. Everything that has a dense or subtle form is due to salt. 12. No form can exist without salt. 13. However, we must appreciate salt in its subliminal quintessence, which is imperceptible by the microscope, yet perfectly visible to the clairvoyant. 14. A profound study of the zodiacal salts will take us very far into the therapeutic field. 15. These 12 salts are 16. Iron phosphate, phosphoric magnesium, phosphoric calcium, phosphoric nitron, phosphoric potassium, sodium chloride, sodium carbonate, potassium chloride, sodium sulfate, sulfuric calcium, calcium fluoride. Silica. Chapter 22. Gold and mercury. 1. Dead gold is useless. It is necessary to give life to it. 2. Just as the sun gives light to the planets, gold can transmute all of our imperfect metals. 3. However, dead gold is useless. Thus, it is necessary to give life to it and to reduce it to its female state, that is to say, to reduce it to its crude matter. It is also necessary for it to be reborn through the path of regeneration by retrogradation. 4. Spiritual gold is the sacred fire, the ineffable pleroma of the spirit. 5. Instead of ejaculating the spiritual gold, it is necessary to make it rise through the 2 ganglionic cords, in order to achieve the regeneration of the being. 6. This is how we give life to the dead gold by reducing it to its crude matter, in order to convert it into volatile and spiritual gold. 7. Volatile gold is the perfect medicine. 8. Volatile gold is the fire of Kundalini. 9. Gold has an affinity with mercury, both are perfect and incorruptible. 10. The minor metals are lead and tin which are soft, and iron and copper which are hard. 11. All these metals of our human personality are transmuted into volatile gold with the powders of projection. 12. These powders are the white and red elixirs of sexual alchemy, see chapter 6, White Elixir and Red Elixir. 13. The quadrature of the circle is found in gold. 14. Mercury and gold form the chaos when they are insolubly united. 15. Gold fecundates mercury in order for creation to emerge. 16. 1 plus 2 equals 3. 17. The father and the mother are united in order for the child to be born. The family united is the four. 18. This is the quadrature of the circle. 19. Therefore, the quadrature of the circle is found enclosed within the volatile gold. 20. Potable gold is the same volatile gold. 21. This volatile gold is the sacred fire of sex. 22. Mercury is transmuted into volatile gold. 23. To synthesize, gold becomes perfect. 24. Mercury. Mercury is the water of the chaos, the crystonic semen that is transmuted into the living gold of the spirit. 25. According to Avicenna, the metals cannot be transmuted into gold until they are reduced to their crude matter. 26. The crude matter of the great work is the mercury of secret philosophy. 27. This mercury is our own crystonic semen. 28. The sun is the father of all the metals and the moon is the mother. 29. Our entire magisterium of the fire depends on these two stars. 30. The sun is the man, the moon is the woman. The entire magisterium of the fire depends on the sexual union of the two. 31. The man and the woman are the father and the mother of all these metals of our personality, which we must transmute into the pure gold of the spirit. 3.2. However, we must not work in the magisterium of the fire if we previously have not reduced all our metals to the crude matter of the great work. 33. With this we would like to say that we must push aside all types of isms, like Theosophism, Rosicrucianism, Spiritualism, Pseudo-Esoterism, Ferrierism, etc., and we must completely comprehend what is the mercury of the secret philosophy. 34. Raymond Lully states in his Clavicle. 35. Concerning this I advise you not to work with the sun and with the moon, unless you have taken them to their crude matter, which is the sulphur and the mercury of philosophers. 36. In other words, this signifies, thou shalt not fornicate. 37. We must accumulate the whole of our crystonic semen in order to transmute it into the living fire of the spirit. 38. We must reduce all our metals into the mercury of the secret philosophy. 39. The Gnostics have sexual union only with their spouse in order to work with the crude matter of the great work. 40. Raymond Lully states. 41. O children of mine, let us learn to serve ourselves from this venerable matter because I warn you under an oath of faith. If you do not remove the mercury from these two metals, you will work as blind men in obscurity and doubt. 42. This is why, O children of mine, I conjure you so you can march towards the light with open eyes and not fall as blind men into the abyss of perdition. 43. Therefore, Gnostic brethren, keep the sixth commandment of the law of God that states, Thou shalt not fornicate. 44. Let us learn how to control the venerable matter of our crystonic semen. 45. Remove the mercury of the secret philosophy from the sun and from the moon, which means, from the man and from the woman, from these two metals. 46. Work with this mercury and learn how to serve yourselves with it, so that you may march towards the light with open eyes and not fall as blind men into the abyss of perdition. 47. Thus, you will engender the king crowned with the red diadem, the master of metallic transmutations. 48. This is the phoenix bird that is reborn from its own ashes. 49. This is the salamander that survives within the fire. 50. This is the universal chameleon that disguises itself with innumerable colors. 51. At times, it is black, at times, it is red, at times, it is white or of various colors. 52. Our mercury blackens, reddens, whitens, and is revested with 1,000 colors that are observed in the changing atmospheres of the alchemist. 53. It is necessary to bake, and rebake and not to become tired of it. 54. Gold. Thus, we transmute the mercury into potable. 55. Thus, we succeed in joining the cross with the triangle. 56. The receptacle must be well sealed in order to avoid the escaping of even a single drop of our philosophical mercury. 57. If the seed of the wheat is pulled out from the earth during the process of putrefaction, then the wheat cannot grow and the seed dies. 58. Likewise, our seed must not be pulled out or taken from our philosophical earth, because the seed and the universes that could flourish would be lost and we would fail in the great work. 59. Generation is always followed by regeneration, which is the sprouting or growing of our beings. 60. Thus, we must reduce the dead gold into its female state, into the crude matter, and remake the path of generation by retrogradation, which means by transmutation. 61. Hence, we convert the dead gold into living gold. 62. What is important is not to pull out the seed from our philosophical earth. 63. The gold and the sun possess all the virtues of the universe. 64. Do not forget, Gnostic brethren, that our philosophical earth is our own human organism. 65. Do not pull out the eternal seeds from this philosophical earth. Chapter 23. The Two Mercuries. 1. In Chapter 6, we spoke of the White Elixir and the Red Elixir in their profound aspects. 2. In that chapter, we found the White Elixir and the Red Elixir in the hermaphrodite spirit, within the master of metallic transmutations. 3. We studied how the hermaphrodite spirit transmutes lead into gold. 4. Now, in this chapter, we will study the White Elixir and the Red Elixir acting as the sun and the moon. 5. Two Mercuries exist, the male Mercury and the female Mercury. 6. These are the White and Red Elixirs. 7. These are the powders of projection with which we transmute all our metals into pure gold. 8. The Red Elixir is the male Mercury. 9. The White Elixir is the female Mercury. 10. The crude Mercury, which means the female Mercury, cannot tolerate the fire except with the help of another different Mercury that must be totally warm, dry, and more digestible than itself. 11. The male Mercury becomes fluid and it is mixed with the female Mercury by means of sexual magic. 12. The two Mercuries are then insolubly united in a completely inseparable manner, as when water is united with water. 13. The masculine Mercury takes the phlegm and the lunar coldness from the feminine Mercury, first turning it black, then red, then white, and then various colors. 14. This is how the woman transmutes her metals into pure gold, by means of the sexual act with the man. 15. Our Mercury, after its many transformations, has the power to change our metals into pure gold. 16. The White and Red Elixirs are the two Mercuries with which we transmute all our metals of our personality into the pure gold of the spirit. 17. The man is the sun and the woman is the moon. 18. We must not work with the sun and with the moon unless they have been reduced to the Mercury of philosophy. 19. Let us take the Mercury from the sun and from the moon, in order to work with this venerable matter in the great work. 20. It is necessary to reduce the sun and the moon to the crude matter of the great work in order to elaborate the king crowned with the red diadem. 21. It is necessary to unite the male Mercury with the sun and the female Mercury with the moon. 22. However, this is possible only by reducing these two Mercuries to the sun and to the moon. 23. This reduction is performed with the loving union of man and woman. 24. When the man is reduced to the sun and the woman to the moon, we then disarrange the compound with the very elements that they are compounded with. Thus, with this crude matter, we can then engender the heavenly man, the Sun King, the master of the white fraternity within, filled with glory and power. 25. This is how our Mercury is united with the sun and with the moon, and this is how the sun and the moon are reduced to the semen, that is to say, to philosophical Mercury. 26. Mercury is insolubly united with other bodies only when they have been elevated to their own nature. 27. Let us elevate our male Mercury to the solar state and the female Mercury to the lunar state, so that the sun and the moon can be reduced to Mercury. Thus, they are insolubly united with it. 28. If we have a ring of gold, and we wish to convert it into a cross, we must inevitably melt the gold and reduce it to its crude matter, to its mercury of philosophy, in order to elaborate the cross of gold with this crude matter. 29. As well, the human being must reduce himself to the semen that engendered him, in order to elaborate the master of major mysteries of the universal white fraternity with this semen. 30. Any other way is absurd. 31. Let us remember that the Holy Bible begins with Genesis, teaching us sexual alchemy. 32. Let us remember that the first miracle that Christ made was in the nuptial wedding of Cana. 33. The Master transmuted the water into wine. 34. Likewise, we must transmute the water of our sexual chaos into the wine of light of the alchemist. 35. The first teaching that Christ gave us was sexual alchemy. 36. If we take a look at all of creation, we will see that all beings have been sexually engendered. 37. We were engendered by a man and a woman. 38. Therefore, if we wish to be masters, we must then engender a master. Everything that exists in the universe has been engendered. 39. The masculine Mercury is active, dry, and warm, whereas the feminine Mercury is passive and humid as the moon. 40. However, the two Mercuries are insolubly united with the fire. 41. The union of the two Mercuries is verified by means of sexual union. 42. This is the secret in order to reduce the two metals to their crude matter. 43. When the two metals are inseparably united, they have the aspect of a white powder and they engender suns and worlds within the infinite. 44. The internal life emerges in all its splendor by fecundating the chaos. 45. With 1 ounce of this powder of projection we can form millions of suns and we can transmute every kind of metal from one mine into a moon. 46. The powders of projection are the white and red elixirs. 47. The masculine Mercury is the red elixir and the feminine Mercury is the white elixir. 48. The white elixir whitens the metals, giving them an immaculate whiteness. 49. The red elixir transforms lead into gold and it yellows everything. 50. The wings of Mercury elevate us to the world of the gods. 51. Mercury is the messenger of the ineffable gods. 52. The Mercury of secret philosophy converts us into the king crowned with the red diadem. 53. The joining of the cross with the triangle is performed with the Mercury of secret philosophy. 54. The wings of Mercury convert us into omnipotent gods of the universe. Chapter 24. Extraction of the Mercury. 1. The feminine Mercury is extracted from the moon's lime. 2. It is necessary to learn how to control the feminine sexual forces of the sun, which are symbolized by the eagle with a woman's head. 3. It is necessary to learn how to handle the moon's lime, in order to extract the crude Mercury, the feminine Mercury. 4. The moon's lime, when soaked in oil of pure gold, dries with the heat of the sun, in order for it to be transmuted within the mattress of our sexual laboratory. 5. The moon's lime, the feminine sexual principles of the moon, must be wisely transmuted in our biogenetic laboratory. 6. The moon's lime must be placed in a well-baked earthen vessel. 7. This vessel or receptacle is our own sexual glands. 8. We must add the vitriol and the saltpeter to the moon's lime and incessantly stir it with a stick or a spade until the crude Mercury is extracted from the moon's lime. This is the feminine Mercury that we need in order to work in the great work. 9. The two Mercuries, masculine and feminine, engender the sacred fire. 10. When the two serpents that are entwined in the caduceus of Mercury make contact in the triveni, in the region of the sacrum, they engender the sacred fire. 11. However, it is necessary to extract the feminine Mercury from the moon's lime in order for it to rise through the left ganglionic cord. 12. Finally, the two Mercuries, the two serpents of the caduceus of Mercury, attach themselves to each other with their tails in order for the Kundalini to awaken. 13. It is necessary to add water to the receptacle in order for the vessel to boil incessantly. 14. This water is first black, then red, then white, and then various colors. 15. It is the universal chameleon, the phoenix bird resurrecting from its own ashes. It is the salamander that survives in the fire. 16. During sexual contact, we extract the feminine mercury from the moon lime, that is to say, we extract the hormones of sexual absorption, which we need for the sacred work of our blessed stone. 17. In the common and current human being, the right serpent ascends while the left serpent descends towards the human being's own atomic infernos, for his own passionate satisfaction. 18. It is necessary to extract the mercury from the moon's lime in order to make the fallen lunar serpent rise up. Thus, we prepare the two serpents of the caduceus of Mercury for the advent of the fire. 19. It is necessary to raise the fallen serpent. 20. The caduceus of Mercury has two serpents. 21. One is entwined with the head upwards and the other is entwined with the head downwards. 22. One is OD and the other is OB according to ancient Kabbalists. 23. The serpent with its head upwards is solar and masculine. 24. The serpent with its head downwards is lunar. 25. It is necessary to raise the fallen serpent. 26. The two serpents were raised upon the reed before the human being departed from Eden. However, when the human being departed from paradise, Lord Jehovah said to the serpent. 27. Because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field, upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. Genesis 3:14. 28. This lunar serpent, this fallen serpent, this passionate serpent, must be raised upon the reed in order to ignite the fire. 29. We must learn to control these feminine principles in order to achieve the birth of the child of gold of sexual alchemy. 30. We must fight against animal passion, the lunar serpent, and bruise its heel, because it has bruised our head. 31. We must fight against the victorious beast. 32. We must extract the crude mercury from the moon's lime in order to raise the fallen serpent. 33. Angels have the two polarities of their sexual energy, masculine and feminine, flowing upwardly towards their head. 34. Human beings have their sexual energy divided. While the solar, masculine, positive current ascends, the lunar, feminine, negative sexual current descends. 35. It is necessary to raise the negative pole of our sexual force. 36. This is what is known as the extraction of the crude mercury from the moon's lime. 37. The two serpents must flow upwardly towards the head, just as the angels. Chapter 25. The living lime of philosophers. 1. The moon's lime mixed with the male mercury and with the female mercury produces the multiplication of the mercury. 2. This crude matter is first black, then red, then white, and then of various colors. 3. This is the living lime of philosophers and the sulphuric quarry of secret philosophy. 4. The virile member in the state of erection causes the semen to be increased within the hormonal vessels. 5. This increasing of semen is known in alchemy as the multiplication of the philosophical mercury. 6. Thus, the semen transmuted into male and female mercury rises through our two ganglionic cords of the spinal medulla. 7. This is the multiplication of the mercury in the sulphuric quarry of secret philosophy. 8. This sulphuric quarry is the phallus and the uterus. 9. The living lime is converted into feminine mercury, which is governed by the moon. 10. When the lime is mixed with the female mercury, that is to say, when the female mercury is extracted from the lime, it is then reduced into a true moon and into true silver, by means of sexual magic. 11. This is how we lift the lunar serpent upon the reed. 12. This is how we lift the fallen serpent for the advent of the fire. 13. The two serpents that are entwined on the caduceus of Mercury must be lifted in order to achieve the awakening of the Kundalini. 14. The masculine serpent is solar. 15. The feminine serpent is lunar. 16. We must lift the lunar serpent because it is fallen. 17. This is how we prepare ourselves for the advent of the fire. 1-8. The multiplication of the philosophical Mercury is a process of sexual transmutation. 19. It is necessary to fertilize the elemental water of the Mercury with our solar fires. 20. This is how we Christify ourselves. Chapter 26. Fundamental base of sexual alchemy. 1. Thou shalt love thy God above all things. 2. Thou shalt not swear his holy name in vain. 3. Keep the feasts to sanctify them. 4. Honor thy father and thy mother. 5. Thou shalt not kill. 6. Thou shalt not fornicate. 7. Thou shalt not steal. 8. Thou shalt not lie nor bear false witness. 9. Thou adultery shalt not commit. 10. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's goods. The 10 Commandments. 11. This is the fundamental base of sexual alchemy. 12. Our sacred art is totally based on the stone tablets of the law. 13. The man who practices sexual magic with various women and vice versa, is an adulterer. An adulterer cannot awaken the Kundalini. 14. Whosoever violates the sixth commandment of the law of God cannot fertilize the waters of Mercury because he does not possess the solar fires. 15. Sexual magic can be performed only between husband and wife. 16. The man who violates this commandment adulterates. The woman who violates this commandment adulterates. If they believe that they will achieve something, they are mistaken, because an adulterer cannot obtain anything. 1-7. The Kundalini ascends with the 10 commandments of the law of God. 18. The violation of any of these commandments stops the development, evolution, and progress of the Kundalini. 19. All evil ones who unite themselves in order to practice sexual magic without being married, fall into black magic due to the crime of adultery. 20. The 10 commandments of the law of God form the fundamental base of sexual alchemy. Chapter 27. The Great Arcanum. 1. When the soldiers of Nebuchadnezzar penetrated into the sanctum sanctorum of the Temple of Solomon, they became frightened before the terrible symbol of the Great Arcanum. 2. The 2 cherubims of the Ark of Alliance were touching each other with the tip of their wings, and they were in the sexual position of man and woman during copulation. 3. The Babylonians asked the Jews, "Is this your God?" 4. Is this the purity of your God that you so much preconize? 5. The priests of Jerusalem remained silent because this is the terrific secret of the Great Arcanum. 6. The 2 cherubims, male and female, performing copulation, represent the essence of all forms, the crude matter of the great work, the elemental waters of life, the sexual force of Eden. The Mercury of the secret philosophy fertilized by the solar fires. 7. The Great Arcanum is the 7th great mystery of creation enclosed within the 7th seal of the Apocalypse, Revelation. 8. The number of this Great Arcanum is 888, 888. 9. This is the reed of magicians. 10. Every septenary is reduced to our spiritual triad. 11. Together, the medulla and the ganglionic cords have the form of the caduceus of Mercury, the form of the number 8. 12. With the 5th, 6th, and 7th initiation of major mysteries, the 8 is established in the causal body, superior manas or body of will, the buddhic body, body of consciousness, and the atmic body which is the vehicle of the innermost. 13. Thus, the 888 is established in our perfect triad. 14. This is how the septenary is reduced to our spiritual triad. 15. However, before this we must raise the 4 serpents of the 4 bodies of sin and convert ourselves into Buddhas. 16. With the number 888, the 24 vowels of the zodiac resound within ourselves. 17. And when he had opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven about the space of half an hour. And I saw the 7 angels which stood before God, and to them were given 7 trumpets. And another angel came and stood at the altar, having a golden censer, and there was given unto him much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of all saints upon the golden altar which was before the throne. And the smoke of the incense, which came with the prayers of the saints, ascended up before God out of the angel's hand, and the angel took the censer, and filled it with fire of the altar, and cast it into the earth, and there were voices, and thunderings, and lightnings, and an earthquake. And the 7 angels which have the 7 trumpets prepared themselves to sound. Revelation 5, 1-6. 18. The Ark of the Covenant, the Ark of Alliance is the 7th great mystery of creation. It is the great arcanum. 19. And the temple of God was opened in heaven, and there was seen in his temple the ark of his testament, and there were lightnings, and voices, and thunderings, and an earthquake, and great hail. Revelation 11:19. 20. Today, this prophecy has been fulfilled. 21. Here you have the unspeakable secret of the great arcanum. 22. Here you have the Ark of Alliance. Here you have sexual alchemy. 23. In these days in which the age of Aquarius is about to begin, just as in the days of Noah, who was saved with the great arcanum, I also deliver to you, my brethren, the Ark of the Covenant. So that you will not perish in this critical hour of humanity. 24. The abyss has opened its tenebrous mouth and, just as in the days of Noah, you can be saved from this cataclysm with the Ark of the Alliance. 25. The temple of this ark is the cathedral of the soul, our sexual organs, the holy Gnostic Church. 26. The reed of Aaron and the stone tablets of the law which are the fundamental base of sexual alchemy are within this ark. 27. The ark is covered with the pure gold of our sexual alchemy. 28. The cherubims are the man and the woman with the mystery of the phallus and the uterus. 29. This is the Ark of the Covenant. This is the mystery of sex. 30. The glory of Jehovah shines upon the tabernacle of the tent. 31. Today, God has accomplished the pact that he signed with Moses, and here I deliver the Ark of the Alliance to humanity. This is the unspeakable secret of the great arcanum, which is sexual alchemy. 32. Those who now despise the Ark of Alliance will perish as in the days of Noah. Chapter 28. Our work in red and in white. 1. The regimes of our philosophical stone are 5. 2. To reduce the metals to their crude matter. 3. 2. To convert our philosophical earth into mercury and sulphur. 4. 3. To unite our sulphur with the sun and with the moon. 5. 4. To elaborate the white elixir. 6. To give the color of the cinnabar to this elixir. And to elaborate the red elixir based on. 7. The reduction of the metals to their crude matter is purely sexual magic. 8. This is how our philosophical earth is reduced to fire and the mercury of secret philosophy. 9. Our sulphur is solar and lunar. 10. During the sexual act, the white elixir and the red elixir, the gold and the silver, that is to say, the man and the woman sexually united, have the power of transmuting the metals of our personality into the pure gold of the spirit. 11. The philosophical sulphur is the red tincture, the fire of the kundalini. It is the spirit of the Roman vitriol. 12. Aristotle states in the Book of Meteors. 13. All the alchemists know that it is not possible to change the form of the metals in any way, unless they previously have been reduced to their crude matter. 14. We must sublimate our philosophical mercury. 15. The mercury passes through processes of distillation, thickening, putrefaction, burning and settling in its sexual mattress and in its furnace. 16. Our philosophical earth absorbs the fertilized water that it longs for, thus, it calms its thirst. Later on it produces hundreds of fruits. 17. When our philosophical earth or human organism is saturated with crystonic semen, it produces the internal fruits of the great cosmic realizations. 18. Let your black water be whitened before adding the fermentation. 19. The crow that flew from the ark of Noah is our black water that we must whiten. It is the mercury of the secret philosophy that we must make shine with the pure gold of the Spirit. 20. This crow's head, mother, heart and root of the other colors is the filthy brass, the black waste, the bronze of the philosophers. It is the humus, it is the black sulphur, it is the male spouse, etc. 21. It is necessary to whiten the black crow. It is necessary to transmute lead into gold. 22. Our great work is nothing more than a permutation of natures, an evolution of the elements. 23. The pure gold of the Spirit is the firewater vinegar of the philosophers, the virginal milk that reduces all the metals to their crude matter. 24. The crow that flew from the ark of Noah is perfect mercury. 25. It is the dove of the Holy Spirit. 26. It is necessary to make the four elements rotate in a circle to permute their natures. 27. It is necessary to convert the earth into water, the water into air, and the air into fire. 28. Those who do not die and resurrect must abandon our sacred art. 29. It is necessary to die in order to live. It is necessary to lose everything in order to gain everything. 30. On one extreme of our blessed stone, two torches burn, the gold and the silver, the man and the woman sexually united. 31. On the other extreme, there is the elixir of perfection, which is the son of the two. 32. It is not possible to pass from one extreme to the other, without passing through the middle. 33. Four waters exist, the first dissolves the moon's lime and transmutes it into the mercury of secret philosophy. 34. The second dissolves gold, yellows the metals and causes them to shine. 35. The third reduces the metals to their crude matter. 36. The fourth is the perfected mercury, the pure gold of the Spirit. 37. The first two waters are the Red Elixir and the White Elixir, with which we perform our works in red and in white. 38. Our philosophical stone is black, red and white. 39. The mercury of the secret philosophy is the black crow that must be transmuted into the white dove of Noah's ark, which is the dove of the Holy Spirit, the pure gold of the Spirit. 40. The man is the red king and the woman is the white king. 41. Our philosophical stone is black, red and white. 42. Our work in red and in white is the loving union of sexual magic. 43. We whiten our black crow with sexual magic and we convert ourselves into omnipotent gods of the universe. 44. We convert ourselves into the serpent with 7 heads, the great serpent, with our work in red and in white. 45. We convert ourselves into dragons with 7 heads with our work in red and in white. 46. We transform ourselves into inhabitants of the world of the mist of fire, with our work in red and in white. Conclusion of Sexual Alchemy. We have concluded this treatise of sexual alchemy with the absolute security that this 20th century's humanity will not be able to understand it. What is certain is that the pedants of this epoch will throw all their slandering spittle against us when reading these lines. Fornication is something very terrible in this epoch, and the spiritualists of all schools defend their lovely fornication with their shield and sword. This is why, after bringing this work into the light, we are willing to patiently tolerate all the slander and calumny. I wrote this book for the Aquarian humanity and for our Gnostic disciples who form the vanguard of human evolution. The foundation of all the schools of the mysteries resides in sex. This is why we find a masculine deity and a feminine deity in all the religions. We see Isis and Osiris in Egypt, Hercules and Dagon in Phoenicia, Apollo and Diana in Greece, Pluto and Persephone in Attic. Among the Greeks, the phallus and the uterus are frankly spoken of. This is the lingam yoni of the mysteries of Eleusis. The verb, the word of gold, is based on the great mysteries of sex. It is impossible to speak the verb of light without awakening the kundalini. IAO, as a mantra, resounds within the unspeakable mysteries of the great arcanum. DIS, DAS, DAS are the fundamental mantras of sexual alchemy. These mantras were given to one of our disciples by the Venerable Master OM. The sound of the vowels must be prolonged as well as the sound of the S, giving it the intonation of a sweet and affable hiss. It must be vocalized as follows. Daiiainiainias. Deasis. Dus. The Master OM warned our disciple that the practice of sexual magic must be performed slowly and softly. The mantras DIS, DAS, DAS must be vocalized during the practice of sexual magic. The disciples will avoid the danger of sexual discharge with these mantras. During the sexual act, disciples must withdraw from their spouse before the spasm in order to avoid the seminal ejaculation. These mantras must be vocalized many times during the practice. In this book, we have delivered the terrific secret of the great arcanum to humanity. In the Middle Ages, the initiate who divulged this terrific secret was killed with poison-perfumed bouquets, shirts of Nessus, poisoned soaps, daggers, or on the scaffold. Those in Egypt who divulged the great arcanum were condemned to the death penalty. Their heads were cut off, their hearts were torn out and their ashes were thrown into the four winds. Therefore, in this book, we have given to humanity the most terrific secret of the universe. We have uncovered the philosophical stone, the elixir of long life, the quadrature of the circle, and the key of perpetual movement. Brethren of mine, with the secrets of this book you can transmute lead into gold and convert yourselves into terrific gods of the universe, into inhabitants of the world of the mist of fire and into creators of universes. All the books of alchemy have been written in codes, and whosoever does not know the codes of sexual magic cannot understand the books of alchemy. All the technology of the books of alchemy must be searched for in the sexual organs. All the books of Raymond Lully, Albert the Great, Sendivogius, Paracelsus, Nicholas Flamel, can only be understood with the supreme code of sexual magic. All the laboratories of the medieval alchemists must be searched for in the sexual organs. The medieval alchemists hid the great arcanum among innumerable symbols and esoteric allegories. This was in order to save it from profanity and in order for them to avoid being burned alive in the blazes of the Inquisition. All those who divulged the great arcanum prior to me died. There is only one man who divulged the great arcanum and did not die. I am that man. Here, I deliver it to humanity. Here, I give it away to all the living beings so that they may convert themselves into living gods. Amen. In closing this work, we must warn our Gnostic disciples that the act of sexual magic can only be performed between husband and wife in legally constituted homes. This is the mystery of the double polarity. Husband and wife form a complete positive-negative polarity. But, when the husband enters another woman, or the wife enters another man, in order to practice sexual magic, a double polarity is formed that results absolutely negative. The double polarity has no power in order to transmute the sexual energy. The double polarity cannot fertilize the Mercury of the secret philosophy with the solar fires. The double polarity cannot awaken the Kundalini because it is absolutely negative. The chaotic waters remain intact without being fertilized or transmuted. This is the mystery of the double polarity. Therefore, a male or female adulterer cannot awaken the Kundalini. Fire is the fundamental base of all that exists. The fire, fertilizing the chaotic matter, is the super-astral light. In the dawn of life, the fire was revolving within the cosmic dust as an igneous serpent. This was the first light of the universe. This is the super-astral light that is placed in our crystonic semen. This is the cosmic electricity that has the power to prepare the seminal atoms and fertilize them in order for the germs of life to sprout from within them. A germ of life exists within each seminal atom. When our planetary universe is dissolved and reduced to atoms, the germs of this universe will sleep in these atoms until the fire of the gods fertilizes them in the dawn of a new Mahamanvantara. The divine germs sleep within our seminal system, awaiting only the time to be fertilized by the fire, in order to give us consciousness as gods. This super-astral light is the first light of creation. It is the primordial Elohim. The super-astral light has two poles, one positive and the other negative. The positive pole is the bronze serpent, Kundalini, that healed the Israelites in the wilderness, and the negative pole is the tempting serpent of Eden, Kundardigwater. The positive pole is OD. The negative pole is OB. The super-astral light is the Kundalini that we must awaken by practicing sexual magic. This is fundamental, any other way is foolish. What is important is the fire, everything else is illusion. The planes of cosmic consciousness are nothing but scales of the serpent of fire. The serpent leaves its scales at the end of each Mahamanvantara. These scales are nothing more than cosmic dust. We must liberate ourselves from these scales in order to be born within the Absolute. The uncreated light, the non-being, which is the real being, subjectively shines within the darkness of the Absolute. Buddhi, the spiritual soul, is a spark that was engendered by the soul of the world. It must ripen by means of sexual magic in order to awaken the absolute consciousness and to be born in the Absolute. Buddhi, the spiritual soul, can be independent of the soul of the world only by means of sexual alchemy. Absolute happiness is only for those who liberate themselves from the cosmic dust and who are born in the uncreated light of life, free in its movement. Christ is an inhabitant of the Absolute. Christ came to the cosmic garden in order to guide us and lead us to the uncreated light of the Absolute. Life free in its movement is the Absolute, where only the uncreated light shines. Human beings and gods are submitted to karma and pain, as long as they are not liberated from the cosmos. The Fohat hisses when it slithers from one point to another. The positive pole, Kundalini, of the super-astral light converts us into gods. The negative pole, Kundardigwater, is the fire of fornication that converts us into demons. We convert ourselves into androgynous flames by means of sexual alchemy. In the dawn of each Mahamanvantara, the Great Mother, the universal feminine principle, steals the fire from the gods in order to fertilize herself and to shine with pleasure. This is the universal protagonist, this is the tragedy of the gods. This is what the logoic downfall is. The gods can be liberated only when their virginal sparks are liberated. Fortunately, in the dawn of each Mahamanvantara, the spiral of life causes the universe to ascend one step more on the path of perfection. There are two paths, the spiral path and the direct path towards the Absolute. This I say to my Arhats, it is better to renounce the happiness of nirvana and sacrifice yourselves for the great work of the Father in order to be born within the Absolute. This I say to my Arhats, the masters who renounce the happiness of nirvana in order to follow the duty of the long path of woe and bitterness are liberated from the soul of the world after many ages. Thus, they are born within the uncreated light of life, free in its movement, where only absolute happiness, absolute consciousness and absolute reality of the being reigns. May peace be with humanity. Samael Aun Weor.